Hey, it's Tuesday, December the 13th, 2016. You are listening to the giant Bombcast. Feels a little empty in here this week.
It's low. It's nice.
There are considerably fewer chairs filled.
Yeah, when you have company over, there's always that feeling of like, oh, we got to keep things clean or whatever. And now it's like, okay, all right.
Now we can take the plastic off.
Take my damn shoes off.
Take our pants back off.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Sit around in our underwear again. Yeah, it's nice having the New York dudes out here for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Fun guys.
Getting all our Game of the Year stuff in.
That was a lot of podcasting.
Yes.
Oh, man.
This room got very duded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude it up.
It was steamy in here
Yeah.
I miss that smell.
at times. Now I've got a whole lot of WAV files to run through Levelator.
right. Yeah,
See how long that takes.
got to levelate the hell out of.
Hours and hours of
Have you counted it up at all?
No,
yet
not
or
yet.
anything?
Not yet. I
Yeah.
need to cut it down before I can get an accurate tally. But there's a lot.
Cut it all out. Change the number one winner through
Yes,
editing.
selectively edit some.
Yeah,
Pull the strings.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was good. It was
I think it went well.
fun.
Yeah. It
was
was a good time.
Yeah,
We're going to have a lot of content. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about the stuff we whipped up.
Yeah. I thought it was a lot of fun to make. I think people will like it.
Yeah. That was good.
We'll see. Yeah.
Now that those guys have vacated the office, Dan,
Yes.
you're about to do the same.
Yeah. It seems like it might actually be working out.
Yeah.
Now.
This is your last full weekend or the last week period, right?
Yeah, I'm leaving
in
this
office.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a whole thing, renting out the place and everything. It's still not, ink is not dry, but
not
I
dry,
think
but-
I'm not going to spend $16,000 for nothing.
I would recommend not doing that.
I mean, if you
Yeah,
can avoid
if you
it,
can
yeah.
help it.
Yeah, I've talked to some lawyers. Seems like no matter what, things will be all right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm in the right on all fronts.
Did you
here,
ever
so-
explore the possibility of just
Faking your own death?
Skipping well, that works too. I was just going to say skipping town.
Oh, yeah, that is absolutely on the table still
Yeah.
if things fall
Yeah.
apart. So, and it seems like if it did go to court or whatever, like I'm in the right according to lawyers. So,
When you change your name, make
Wait.
sure to change your Twitter handle as well.
yeah.
Which you won't be verified at that point, but you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Lawyers did say that I would not be hard to find if she did want to take me to court.
No,
which,
that's true.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Maybe you could just change like your name, not your actual handle. You know, people change it for like
Halloween. I'm like,
Halloween
oh,
stuff.
Spooky Dan.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
you just change
Smart.
it to
Just change it to not Dan Reichert.
That
Definitely
works.
not
But
Dan
then I'm a
Reichert.
parody
Fair
account.
enough.
Change it to Dan Reichert, who currently lives in the Falklands. Or,
Okay.
You know, like
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Prince Edward Island's own Dan Reichert.
CBS Interactive in the Falklands.
Yeah.
It's like a parody of Dan Reichert.
No, it's the real Dan Reichert.
Okay.
He's
He's his
out
own
of the
parody.
country. Impossible to find.
Right,
Don't even bother
right.
looking.
This ain't Dan Reichert.
Yeah.
XXX.
Yes, this ain't no Dan Reichert. Oh,
Yeah, so I think
gross.
it's going to work out. I think we're going to do about a month or so in Jersey while we kind of apartment shop in Manhattan. And we've already been like looking at Manhattan places, and we can get places for cheaper than San Francisco, like in good parts of Manhattan. So that's the plan. Hopefully walk to work. Be right there by the whole like comedy scene out there in the East Village,
Sounds
maybe.
all right.
So yeah,
It's fucking insane that you are moving to New York and saving money.
yeah,
Yes,
Manhattan.
that's,
Yes.
Yeah,
Nobody should live in San Francisco.
Be careful
Yes.
to walk into work though, because like that means that you can be at work at all times.
That doesn't sound so bad.
I don't mind that.
I have always, I've always like fantasized about the living 2 blocks
I used to
from
be
work
able
thing.
to see the Whiskey Media office from
That's right.
my place.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was very much there was the period of time when I thought about like, well, maybe like I've hit an age where I should move to San Francisco and move closer and stuff like that. This was, I don't know, years ago. 10, 12 years ago, something like that I was like considering it. And definitely there was that part of like, no, because if I lived that close to work, I would just always be there. Like there was something really nice about having that hour of separation of just like, okay, if someone needs to like get a hold of me and I need to like come in, they've got to really fucking mean it.
yeah.
And that was nice. I mean, now it's like, you know, and everyone's got way better phones than we had then, and you know, so much work that you can just get done wherever you are.
Yeah.
That it's a little different. But
And
then,
all our stuff is web based. Like we can do quite a bit outside the office.
totally. So it is a little different.
Not if you're a
but-
video producer.
Well, yeah, it's you know, okay. Let me remote into your desktop, and then you got
Okay.
Premiere running there, and
Right.
just get it done. I mean, what's the problem?
Proxy
Just-
files.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought about it.
I think ideally I want to do like a 25 to 30 minute walk to work every day.
Yeah,
And not
that
have to
sounds
do the
good.
subway because I like walking. That's a built-in exercise even if I don't have time to go to the gym or something. And I just like walking through New York. It's a cool city to walk around. So that's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all works out. But yeah, it seems like the tough stuff is behind me.
You looking forward to snow again?
Actually,
miss
yeah,
that?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
nice
miss
every
it.
once in a while. But
I don't want
I don't know if I can
Minnesota
live
snow.
there. Yeah,
That was too much.
it
but
gets
like,
Minnesota snow
Yeah, I don't
sometimes.
know if you're going to
still.
get quite that much, but I think there's a good bit.
I'm fine with that. Like Kansas got a lot of snow. I was used to that. I like that level of seasons and everything. And I bet New York is going to be closer to Kansas than it is Minnesota. Minnesota, like you just don't see the ground for 6 months.
Man.
You know, it'll melt in New York.
You guys make Minnesota just sound like a frigid hell.
But it's actually like the best city I've ever lived in. Minneapolis
It sounds
is
awesome.
Incredible.
Everything
Minneapolis
I've ever
is
heard about Minneapolis
fantastic.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
If I had a reason to go there, well, not go, but like live there, I probably wouldn't be
Go pitch
opposed
something to
it.
Target, and then you can go there.
Is that where
Or
they're
Best Buy, yeah.
Huh.
Does it have a city dish?
Yeah, the Juicy Lucy, yes.
Oh yeah,
It's
But
it's a
which one
cheeseburger.
though? Because there's
I like
two.
the Matt's Bar one.
As
Several
do
places
I.
have. Matt's
As
Bar
do
is the
I.
best
I
one.
think we've documented the Juicy Lucy wars.
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Before,
Just
yeah.
cheese inside of the burger.
Did you say math bar?
Matt's
Matt's.
Bar? Matt's
Oh,
Bar.
okay.
There's also the 508 or whatever. And
Yeah,
there's
something
Blue
like that.
Door.
Was it
and-
they feud over who invented it? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
but I've had both, and the Matt's Bar one is definitely better, and I think the evidence leans towards Matt's being the first one.
I think so too.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't the same thing with Philly cheesesteak? Like nobody can agree on who actually came up with it.
They have it with the
Probably.
French dip sandwich in L.A.
Yeah.
Philippe's the
Yeah,
original.
Philippe's is kinda
that's
the-
the one I always go to.
Yeah.
Sandwich wars are contentious.
Yeah.
Widely considered that you want to go to Philippe's
Yes.
to get a French dip.
Philippe's is
I-
fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of the Minnesota thing. I think hot dish is a thing in Minnesota.
Mm,
That's
Right.
more,
I've never had
of
that,
a
though.
like a
Heard of that.
Midwestern
I've
thing.
never been clear on what that is.
It's
just
like
casserole.
It's a casserole,
Yeah,
right?
essentially.
Oh, okay.
They just call it
okay.
hot dish there.
Okay.
I've never had that.
We do a lot of casseroles in the South too.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I've not partaken in a lot of casseroles.
Oh, you're missing
in my
out.
Time.
You're missing out.
I'm not opposed to it.
Oh
for
man,
sure,
It's
but
delicious,
they're
quick
full
and
of-
easy,
They're just
man.
full of fat.
just like me. Perfect.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ship any or all of your stuff yet?
A lot of it went out like 2 hours ago.
Were you sleeping on the
and
floor
got
yet?
shipped Out. No, we're trashing the bed. The couches. As an incentive, as we got down to the wire, I said like, hey, if you want to rent my place, I'll give you my couches and my 56-inch HD TV. And so, yeah, the people moving in are moving from England most likely, and so it's like, oh, it's kind of a head start on moving into a place. So they get my TV and that.
Was that part of the sweeten the deal a little bit to get them to move
It was
in?
a sweeten the pot thing, which I already had buyers lined up, so I'm losing like $700 on that stuff, and I got to pay half a month's rent for January, which is another
Wait,
like $1,500.
So like the dude
but-
wouldn't agree to move in unless you gave
Oh
him
no,
your
no,
TV?
he wasn't a hard ass about it. I
Okay.
just already had it on the listing
Yeah.
as an incentive,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, so do you want these?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we'll totally take them." Like, okay,
Like, yes, I will accept a free TV.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's fine. You know, $2,000 worth of stuff or whatever is much better than 16,000. So,
You got that couch super cheap too.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Didn't it fall off a truck?
it literally did. Yeah,
Nice.
Like it fell off a truck. Your mom
Right.
picked it up.
That's the best way to get
Oh
it.
wow.
my mom handles like freighting truck things going across the country, and it fell, and it was like slightly
Shit,
ripped
just
on the
got
bottom
lost.
part.
Who knows?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, okay,
Sure.
well, we can trash it or give it to my son who just moved into a place.
I hear
so.
what you're saying.
Mhm.
I get it. Mhm.
Nice.
Mhm.
Real nice.
All right.
Got my DVD cabinet the same way.
That sits on the arm. That couch right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Yeah, most of my stuff is IKEA and or hand-me-downs
Yeah.
as well.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No.
After I bought my house and it became time to actually furnish it, which I didn't do immediately because it turns out when you do things like buy a house, it's all your money into that.
Yes.
So
So
You got to fill it with stuff? No.
yeah, I know, right? I had a bunch of stuff to go in, but not like a couch. You know, I had never really outfitted a living room before, so I just didn't have any of that stuff. And even still,
Arcade machines first?
Yeah, the place. Yes, actually, the Blitz machine was one of the first things to go in.
You'd sit on that.
Yeah, because that was at my parents' house. I had to get it out of there.
Okay.
And yeah, so we went a few months with no couch, but then I got to a point where I'm like, well, now it's time. I'm going to get the couch of my dreams, this gigantic L-shaped couch
Yeah.
that doesn't actually fit in this living room all that well.
I think it's huge.
Yeah, so most of it's gone now. Because I had it in there in such a way where it was actually blocking the fireplace. Because it's like, well, I'm probably not going to have a fire ever, so whatever.
Fires are good, though.
No, fires are good.
Well, I don't know if it gets cold enough up there.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, if it
Alright.
gets colder up there than it is here.
Yeah, okay.
For sure. It's definitely been like below freezing
Alright.
multiple days
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
last
sure.
couple weeks.
Yeah,
So
that's good fire weather.
yeah. But then I haven't had anyone look at the fireplace in years, so I don't know if it's cracked and all this other stuff. So we're getting closer and closer to maybe having fires someday.
Aren't there-
Just as they're getting ready to like put a bunch of regulations.
Yeah, I was
in
gonna
about
say,
saying,
aren't there a bunch of
you can't have
fucking
fires anymore, asshole?
California restrictions around burning wood?
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, there are where you can't do it certain times of the year. I forget what their actual restriction is, but they definitely have like certain times or weather or whatever it is.
What if you're a restaurant?
They probably. I imagine they have exemptions for that. Or
Could you become a restaurant?
I mean,
Jeff's Pizzeria.
no,
Open 5 minutes a
probably
day.
not. Yeah, I bet not. I bet the amount of regulations you would have to step through and health code you would have to meet and all that other stuff would be. I mean, maybe you could, but that town has a zillion restaurants and a bunch of bars. And last time I was aware of any of that stuff, there was so much politicking involved in who got liquor licenses and who got open restaurants and all this other stuff that it was like a nightmare. Like one bar sending minors into another bar to try to get them to fuck up.
Wow.
Like
Lose their license?
Yeah.
Holy
like
shit.
It sounded like it got really nasty around that stuff.
Man.
That was all like secondhand stuff I would hear, but it just sounded like a fucking train wreck. So I don't want to get involved in the food business or liquor business anywhere near there. But yeah, anyway, I got rid of most of my couch, so now it's just like 2 reclining chairs.
Those are the best parts.
Yeah, but I think I'll probably eventually get rid of that and get something new, and then tear out the carpet. No, it's endless. That stuff is endless.
Home ownership.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea, probably a good investment, right up until the point where, well, I mean, long term, right up until the point where California falls into the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
Like really, or
nah.
Okay.
I mean, that's always been the joke.
is the fault line
Yeah.
going to
There's a lot
eventually?
of earthquakes here and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
I
Florida will
actually,
be first.
I don't know if I just felt one or I think they're still doing construction in weird parts of the building, but while you were talking, I felt like 3 little jolts that felt like an earthquake more than building construction, but not enough for me to
just
stop
Brad's
and go,
baritone.
hey, you guys, was that an earthquake?
I think I've been here for way too long, and I've only had 1 earthquake here where I immediately, or maybe 2, where I was like, yes, that was an earthquake.
Right.
Like, most of them that you feel are like, was that an earthquake?
Especially living in the city because
Or
like big trucks just go by.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, there was one bigger one, like probably like 10 years ago or something now. I'm trying to think like if that's the one you're thinking of.
Maybe.
There was one in 06 because I was just hearing about this one.
Okay.
So yeah,
that might
yeah.
be the one. Yeah, I remember one when I was sitting in a rolly computer chair and like the chair just started moving back and forth.
I
and
remember.
was like, well, that's an
I remember a real big one, and then it was big enough to where the phones didn't work because everyone was calling everyone to go, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was in a town up north over the weekend, and they said that all the houses along this lagoon were no older than 10 years old because that 06 earthquake knocked all of the houses into the lagoon.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the
there,
big
there
one.
was
Yeah.
stuff.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
Well,
was. There was some
that
damage
was
to
not
that.
the big one. Like,
Not the big
There
one.
hasn't
that was-
been a true big one here for over 100 years.
Right, 1906.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's bigger than
Well,
big. That's
yeah.
I would say
I
the
guess
one-
89 was.
Yeah,
was
I
pretty big.
would call 89 a big one.
Yeah, sure.
Because that one was far away from here, but still substantial enough to where you were like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
That killed people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like freeways collapsed and
Yes.
stuff in '89.
Yes.
Can we start knocking on some wood here?
Nah.
Seems like we're tempting something.
Maybe shut our yaps.
Oh boy.
I had the one when I first moved here that woke me up, but it was a fairly minor one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple little like rumbly ones, but nothing big.
Yeah.
So if I've done earthquakes here, blizzards in Minnesota, tornadoes in Kansas, what is New York has? Hurricanes can't hit New York, right? Like
sometimes.
Sandy
Sometimes.
was a thing
Yeah,
there.
Sandy was terrible.
Yeah, but like
But,
downtown, like Manhattan, like there's not really any major risk there, right? Of major natural disasters.
Not really.
Natural disasters,
Right.
maybe not.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the hurricanes mostly hit more like in the southern areas.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Once in a
Like
while,
down
they'll
by the Gulf. and-
get bad enough to come up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, does all the home improvement leave you any time to play video games?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm bad at the home improvement stuff.
yeah.
Because of all the video games.
Sure.
Yes. I'm
Priorities.
terrible at watching home improvement. I'm the worst at it. I don't think I've seen a full episode all the way through ever.
Drew and
you
I
have
were
a-
just talking about home improvement.
Yeah.
Do you have a wooden fence in your backyard?
I do.
Is there a guy who sticks his eyes up over it and tells you to get back to work?
No, the dude next door, I don't know. I don't know that dude.
Okay.
Do you have any
He's-
boring friends that
he's
wear
not-
flannel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a beard?
No, I don't think she has a beard. but
Okay.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. Like, yeah, we've been working on Game of the Year stuff, and so there's been a lot of stuff
Yes.
there. But also, kind of in my spare time, I've been continuing to mess around with the Oculus Touch stuff. and sculpting stuff in Oculus Medium.
Yes.
But I think we've probably talked about that.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
at this
We
point.
took a look at that on UPF.
Yeah,
on
and
Friday.
we'll take a look at kind of more of the touch launch lineup here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now that we're slowly working our way back into regular stuff. But I've also been playing more Let It Die. I played a chunk of
good.
that over the weekend.
Yeah.
And finally unlocked the online or the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, I just tried that out last night.
Which is fun. It's like MGS5 is like kind of base stuff where you have your waiting room. So there are two currencies that are just in your waiting room waiting to be stolen by other players.
Oh God, I hope neither of those are the ones you could buy with money.
They're not.
Okay.
And
Although that would be kind of amazing
it would
if
be.
you could
Yeah,
straight up jack
yeah,
the stuff
it'd
that
be-
people have put real cash into.
Yeah. That'd be some real Castle Doctrine level
God.
of stuff, I guess. So I went and did the tutorial raid and went and did one more raid after that and stole some people's stuff. And that was fun. 'Cause
Did you
just-
capture any dudes?
No. Yes. As part of the tutorial
Oh, yeah,
raid,
the
I think
tutorial,
you
sure.
do automatically capture one there. But then the second raid I didn't actually take anybody. But I only have one spot in my bathroom for a guy. So but he actually just got out. So he's reset and in my freezer now,
Oh, okay.
which means I can go a raid and try to steal somebody else.
It's such a cool thing. Like,
Yeah.
you can actually, steal like an opposing player's character.
Are those
but they
player characters, not NPCs?
Can,
They are AI controlled when
yeah.
you raid. Like it's not live
But they
multiplayer.
But they are
belong
characters
to
they have
another
put
character.
time into playing
Yes.
and leveled up and stuff.
They're
Yeah. I don't-
their gear and everything?
divatars.
That's pretty messed up.
I don't think the gear comes with them.
Okay.
But I don't know. So if you raid someone who has okay. When you steal a fighter, he goes into your bathroom and is reset, and that takes 48 hours. And then he becomes a playable
did he
character for you. It's I don't know.
Okay.
He's in there like all
lot of
bound-
mushrooms.
a lot of mushrooms. That's all you
Okay.
ever eat in that game is mushrooms.
Frogs. Yeah.
And so if you have someone in your bathroom and a player raids you, they can bust up your bathroom and steal your guys. And then that guy will be gone. Or maybe they can just steal it back.
I think they can steal it back.
I think so. I think someone can raid you to steal their character back. Anyway,
that sounds right.
that part of the game I'm not 100% firm on, but
Yeah.
I'm also not sure if someone comes. So sometimes if you're fighting a guy, you'll knock him out and put him in a state where you can carry him back to the train, which is where you leave their base, and they can walk you on that character onto the train, and then that's your fighter that goes into the bathroom and gets reset and all this other stuff. So
Straight
I'm
up
not sure
jacking
if
dudes.
if you do that, I'm not sure if then the attacked player loses that fighter or not, or if it's just
Or if
like
you're just
that-
making a copy
right,
of
if you're
them.
just kind of
Okay.
stealing a copy
Yeah.
of it. I haven't really seen how that works yet.
It's not their like main player character.
So you have multiple main player
Oh, I
characters.
see.
So your freezer is where your characters get stored. And I started with two. I have two slots at the start, so I had one character in there and one that I was currently using.
Okay, and after the 24 or the 48 hours in the bathroom, they go to your freezer.
Yeah,
If they don't get stolen first.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so your freezer, you have to upgrade how many slots your freezer has by spending one of the currencies that can then get stolen. So I spent a bunch of that currency to get one of those upgrades going, and then went back this morning to like set off another round of upgrades, but I had been raided 5 times and all that currency was gone.
Yikes.
Whoa.
So I had enough for like one upgrade.
Oof, that's rough.
So
Is there any kind of like automated way to try to get that stuff back?
you take so it'll
not
list the people that raided you, and
Yeah.
you can go strike back at them if you
Okay.
want, or
Yeah.
you can just go raid anybody,
Or just go take
Yeah.
other currency from somebody else?
exactly.
Okay.
So that's a way to go.
Yeah. Also,
as well.
before we get too far away from it, is this totally a timer based? Is this Clash Royale? Is this I got to open
No.
my chests and like?
No.
Because when you're talking about logging in the morning
okay.
to
So
Yeah, there is some of
there's
that.
like I said, the fighter reset was 48 hours.
Yeah.
But you just pay kill coins to go on raids, and
Okay.
that's like a earnable currency, grindable currency.
so you don't have a bunch of timers ticking down that you need to get in and check on
it's
and
just
stuff.
it's just that when you buy the upgrades, that takes time.
Okay.
So even like you'll find blueprints in the dungeon in the tower that lead to you being able to create armor and weapons at your base instead of just finding them in the field.
At any time, like if you get the blueprint, can you create this weapon?
No,
you know,
it's
numerous times.
There's a store, yes, but you can create it multiple times.
Right,
but you
right.
have to create it in the store in the waiting room. You don't create it in the field.
Right, but I mean, it's not like you make it once and the blueprint's gone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can upgrade those blueprints to where now it's making +1, and so you're making better and better items. They're way better than most of the stuff you find in the dungeon because their durability is full and all this other stuff. Everything you pick up in the dungeon is like fucking 5 hits away from breaking usually.
So when you capture these dudes, put them in your freezer, eventually.
Yeah.
What can you do with them then?
So then you take them and you can send them into other players' games where they will attack them and they'll come back with stuff.
Oh, they become haters?
Yes, they become. You can send them out as haters, or you can set them up in defensive positions in your waiting room to try to fend off attacks.
Okay.
So there's room for like 10 different spots that you can fill with fighters. If you have, I assume you can eventually upgrade your freezer to hold that many fighters. But yeah, so you kind of just are. You equip them, you level them up, and then you can put them in these defensive positions so that if someone raids you, they have to then fight a bunch of high-level guys.
So when you raid dudes, do you come into contact with their defenders?
Yeah, their defenders show up. So when I went and raided a guy, he had 2 fighters in waiting, killed both of them.
But it was like the normal AI, so pretty easy, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
like even if they're kind of over-leveled.
Yeah, they were higher level, so like they were doing a lot of damage, but they're still AI, so they weren't necessarily... too rough.
But if you wanted to improve the level of your guys, how would you do that?
You play as
with
them
them?
actively and go into the dungeon and earn XP, which then filters into points. So I'm at max level for grade 1 characters. I guess at some point you unlock grade 2 characters.
Okay, is that how because you were saying last week you almost hit the level cap in like
you hit the level cap in an
short period
hour,
of time.
but that's the grade 1 level cap, and I have not unlocked the ability to make those higher level characters because then it's like they go up another 25 levels.
Okay, so you're kind of prestiging the character over
and then
over.
you would also get more stickers. No, you're creating a new character. Like you're throwing that character in the freezer or letting them go or whatever and going like, now I can make grade 2 characters. Fuck these people. From the sounds of it. Yeah,
weird. They wouldn't let you just take your existing character to the next.
That's the thing about that game is that the individual characters don't matter.
They don't matter that much.
Yeah, the ability to craft gear is what matters. Finding the blueprints, leveling up your blueprints, and having the things you need to make that stuff is what actually matters. The characters, you let them die.
Stands to reason.
Is gear locked to characters?
No. Gear is just inventory. You can swap them wherever. They will have restrictions, but the restriction seems to be the number of hit points you have. So most of the gear that I have made, the low-level gear that I can make right now, it all says like you need to have you need to be able like your max hit points needs to be 200 for you to equip this. But then if I increase the power of that blueprint by putting more materials into it, so now I'm making +1 versions of those items, that number goes up to 204, which means a level 1 character can't equip that anymore because the level 1 character starts with 200. Or at least the balance, their character types and stuff, that there'll be some differences in the stats. Anyway, that's all a long-winded way of saying this game kind of has a lot going on.
Yeah.
And every time I come back to it, it unlocks like 3 more things that I go like, oh shit, all right, weird. And I really like it. Yeah. I don't know what the loop of it is. I'm not sure what I should be doing because there's like I could go on raids and get stuff. But that's only going to matter as long as I then immediately funnel that stuff into upgrades because all that stuff will get stolen as soon as I log out.
It seems like that's a really good way of like getting money, I guess.
Yeah.
Like probably the fastest way. But at the low levels, like it seems like I've just got an abundance of cash. So totally. I haven't felt the need to do any rating just yet. So I've been focused on just working my way up.
But so when you I upgraded my bank once, which means you can then hold 50,000 kill coins.
Okay.
And that's how much a mushroom stew costs.
Yeah.
And buying the mushroom stew is where you get the version. So they're the decals that you can stick to your character that give you bonuses. And those decals, if you peel them off, they're gone generally. But the mushroom stew is how you get the premium decals that then if you die or remove them or whatever, you still have them.
Why would you peel them off? Is that a voluntary thing or if you die? Or?
I only have, if you die or I only have 1 slot for a sticker right now. And the one I have equipped is on my like high level character is like +7 to all attack, or +7% to all attack. But I might find a better sticker that I want to replace that one with. And she only has one. She only has 1 slot for a sticker. Eventually, like it looks like there's room for up to 9. And some of that is governed by the class you take. Like there'll be like a skillful class type that will have more slots. And as you unlock these additional grades, I think you'll get more that way too. But I haven't gotten there yet. I've only been to the 4th floor of the fucking tower. So there's a whole lot.
Like 40, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Did I remember you saying something last week about talking to some people who have... I heard
pushed
deep into this game.
I heard that the higher levels of that tower become unforgiving in a way that is not fun, but also now that I'm kind of seeing more of the raiding and multiplayer stuff, I'm starting to think that maybe none of that matters. because there's all this other stuff with defending your base and all this other shit. So,
Well, I meant more in terms of how much they kind of force you to spend money.
the thing is, forcing you to spend money is really only if you want to revive a certain character that has died in the dungeon, because that's the only time that death counts. And
Also for like speeding up upgrades and research
Okay.
stuff.
yeah, I guess you can put it into
Yeah, I
that.
was just kind of wondering if you're going to hit that paywall where it's like, I can't play this game effectively anymore unless I spend $100.
I think it would end up being a case where, like, if you've got a character that's deep into the tower and you're right before a boss fight or right before the next elevator or something that would then let you start there or get back there easily, I feel like that would be the only time you would want to spend to revive a dead player.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm starting to think that you really do just walk away from characters at a rapid clip. And fall back to, or you can. I mean, if you don't want to spend that money, it seems like that's a totally viable way for a lot of these levels. Maybe that changes like late game, but I don't know.
So if a character dies in a tower, are they gone from your freezer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you pay the real money currency to revive them.
Okay, so to level up your freezer characters, you go out and you play and you come back without dying.
Right.
So you can just leave the tower at any time?
You need to find an elevator to get out or walk all the way back down.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you quit when you're in the tower, that's the same as a death.
That sucks.
So you have to get back to the waiting room to stop playing the game.
Can you pause?
No.
Nope.
Yeah. It's
All right.
It's like that.
All right.
Yeah.
The game sounds cool.
It
I
is.
should try to check it out.
And free.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grasshopper has made a fascinating thing in that game.
For sure.
So, yeah. That's more or less all I've been playing.
Yeah, that sounds like a time sink.
Yeah. No,
Keeping up with all that stuff.
Yeah, and I haven't put a ton of time in. I've been kind of getting back into Titanfall
Yeah.
now that we've got a little bit more time as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I've got a bunch of writing to do and a bunch of other stuff going on. So yeah,
A lot of year-end wrap-up stuff to
got
get
to do your
done.
write-ups.
Yeah.
Drew?
Yes.
Anything on your plate?
I'm also trying to do my write-ups,
Mhm.
and before I do that, I have a few more games that I want to finish. So I'm kind of trying to finish certain things, trying to like just get halfway in some other things, and I've got a few more games that are like waiting in the wings for me to get to.
Yeah. Anything
so-
notable?
I mean, not anything that we
Nothing-
haven't discussed.
nothing you wanna
at
talk about?
length before.
Okay. Just a lot of mop-up.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of mop-up.
Okay.
And Final Fantasy VI.
Yes.
Where are we at?
I just gave a man some cider.
Okay, yeah.
That's not ringing.
That
any
game
bells.
like branches at
Yeah.
one point, and you can choose which stories to pursue.
Wait,
in
are you
what
at
order.
that point?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
He's already started branching, yeah.
Yeah, so and I think
What?
If he's in,
Have,
if
have
he's done
any
the Vilt
have any
stuff,
have any major events occurred in the last little bit?
major events. So they haven't coalesced back together at
What are
all.
you doing right now?
So
Broad,
I,
like the big picture. What's your?
what is my?
I'm
big
I'm
picture?
trying not to spoil something for you. But I can't
there's a
tell.
resistance.
I can't tell
Yep.
if you're past it or not.
There's a resistance that I am trying to. I think I just infiltrated a town that didn't like me. And there's a resistance that I'm trying to right now. So that was one of the 3 stories. So I wrapped one up which was the story where I met that feral kid.
Yes.
And then there was another story
yeah.
where I was with the lady and she infiltrated the town, and I wrapped that up. And now I'm in the
Oh.
third story where I'm with the thief, and he had to escape the town, so he disguised himself as a merchant and a soldier.
Yes.
And I think I'm in the middle of that. And I found another lady, a general of the resistance or something,
Yes. I
love
in
her.
a jail. That's right where I saved.
Okay.
That's what's going on.
All right. I'm glad I didn't say anything. You're not to the part
Okay.
yet that I thought you might be past.
All right.
I won't say anything, but
The
the game goes places.
Oh, shit,
yeah,
You're coming up on some crazy stuff.
I mean, I'm enjoying the game. It's kind of, I don't know that if I did the stories in the wrong order or whatever,
No,
but it's kind of easy when I'm just fighting, random encounter characters.
yeah.
I can't remember the last boss I was at, or if I've even encountered anything that is a boss, but yeah, I'm kind of breezing through.
Okay. I don't remember that one being as hard as like some of the Final Fantasies in
And
that
that's
era
fine with
were-
me.
were
Like,
fucking crazy hard.
I'm not looking to have a deep encounter with
Yeah.
every single
Yeah.
random encounter, because that would drive me insane.
Right. I remember that game, as long as you weren't running from random encounters constantly, like you would level pretty.
I haven't run from anything.
Yeah, you would level pretty smoothly and be able to beat the bosses pretty well.
Yeah,
So.
and I think I only had to consult a FAQ once, and it's because I had to, like, I would walk into the town that they wouldn't allow me into, and then they would just turn me around and walk me back out. But I had to walk in and then like take a left and go find a secret
hidden
passage.
door, yeah.
And like they told you that like way early in the game, and I had forgotten that because I'm playing like in half-hour chunks.
Yeah, you like exit from that door like at the very beginning part of the game.
Did not remember that.
Gotcha.
But other than that, like I've reached points where I've gotten stuck, but I have gotten unstuck, which I'm very proud of myself for doing.
I still want to sit down and watch you play some of that.
Yeah,
if you're willing.
It's like, it's my first. I guess it's my first Final Fantasy. I've dabbled in other ones before, but this is the most I've played of any of them, and it is not one of those like archaic, hard to go back to games.
Yeah, it holds up.
It holds up. Well, I mean, it's a JRPG.
Yeah,
If you don't like those, you're not going to like this.
Sure.
But if you've been interested, it is and hearing you talk about how it's like the last of that age.
Yeah.
Before the polygonal stuff came in, before they changed art directors.
Yeah.
It's very clear that they have refined their game.
Yes. Like Square
this point.
Square put out a few other like Super NES games after that, but that was the last Final Fantasy before they went PlayStation and polygons and all that shit.
Yeah.
So
some would say it's the best Final Fantasy.
I mean,
I could back that argument.
After this is why I chose this one, because you guys talked it up on over the world of Final Fantasy.
Yes,
Quick Look,
right.
So,
Yep.
I'm enjoying it.
That's good to hear.
And I'm playing the GBA version.
Yeah. Does that thing have GBA can't sleep, right? You just have to turn it off.
There is a quick save.
Okay. Oh, it's got that thing
bumps
where
you to the menu.
Okay, and then it deletes that save when you load it.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Damn, what's going on with you?
Playing a new indie game on PSN called Stardew Valley.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a game on consoles now. It's about farming.
Okay.
Farming in space or
no, you're just farming on a quaint farm.
I was thinking about picking that up because
space?
I should try that game. And is it cross-buy? Does it work on Vita too?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so I might as well get the one that I could play on Vita.
Seems like a pretty good Vita game.
Yeah, actually, I should find my Vita and bring that home for the holidays and play a bunch. Okay, I'll do that.
How is that version though?
It's fine. It's good. They incorporated a lot of the new things that got added with this like 1.1 update, where you can pick different farms at the beginning that like, oh, I want this one to be more mining focused, or this one is more farming space, but monsters come out at night, and there's 5 different ones you can choose from, and lots of new things like you can make coffee, you can buy a basement where you can age cheese and alcohol and stuff. So yeah, I kind of want to play this game again.
All right.
And so that's super relaxing. And on the other end of the spectrum, I started playing Thumper.
Okay.
cool.
And
that is the other end of the spectrum.
Yes. And Alex likes that game a lot.
Yeah.
And I totally see why. It's really good. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
And it's intensely uncomfortable to play.
Kinda,
Not in a tone kind of way, but just you were constantly just on edge.
It's super tense and
it's
demanding.
very tense.
Yeah.
Stuff comes at you very quickly that you have to react to, and you really don't get breathers.
Is it the kind of game where you have to like pry your hands off of the controller at the end?
I do feel like at the end of a level or something, like I like to pause and be like, okay, I just need to walk around for a second. Like,
I can only play that game one level at a time.
Yeah, it's really good though. I see why people like it a lot.
Do the levels change up at all?
There are like boss fights and stuff.
They add new mechanics from level to level,
All right.
like new button input stuff.
And there's a certain amount of memorization. Like, okay, so this wall goes left, right, and then boom, boom, and then left, right, and it's really rewarding when you kind of get the hang of it and you actually like pull it off and execute it.
Yep.
So yeah, that game's super cool.
Yep.
But yeah, Stardew Valley and Thumper mainly what I've been playing.
All right.
Sweet.
Everybody just kind of cleaning stuff up at the end of the year.
Pretty much.
Yeah, for the most part.
Jason?
I checked out this game called Icy, I-C-E-Y on Steam. It's like $11 or something like that. A lot of people were suggesting that I try this. It's the 2D side scroller, stylish character action stuff. It's got air juggles, dude. It's got everything that speaks to me.
Jason likes air juggles
and air dashes and stuff like
something
that.
Something I have learned over
stylish,
time.
Stylish 2D combat. I'm totally into, and it's definitely got that. You play as like this android anime lady. Not a lot of lead into the game, storyline wise, but you are accompanied by a narrator that's always talking in your ear, and he's like, And then Icy found that she can only cross the chasm by hitting this switch. And
like
you're
straight up like Bastion style.
There's a little bit of Stanley Parable going on, which is really fucking weird to say in a game like this. So you're like, no, I can totally jump over this. It's fine. You do that, and then the narrator's like, well, all right, I guess you're just not going to listen to me then. And he's consistently trying to get you to go certain areas, and you're like, no, I'm gonna go the other way, which leads to some like secret areas. This is where like a little bit of like the beginner's guide comes in, where you get like kind of some insight. There's a lot of meta shit going on. Like I found one area in particular where it was a completely unfinished map. It was just like sketched out, not colored in, and then he shows you some of the prototypes of this game, like leading up to its final release. So,
that sounds cool.
There's some interesting stuff, and the action is actually pretty good. Feels really tight. I like it. There's some stuff going on there. I'm gonna keep playing it.
It's kind of like 2D Devil May Cry kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's similar to what's that game we checked out like a month ago? Earth's Dawn.
Very different. I mean, still
similar. Just combat.
Yeah, that combat.
Yeah.
is very similar.
Same style.
But yeah, there's some weird shit. Yeah, that I was just totally not expecting in there.
That sounds neat.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I have continued playing Dead Rising 4.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's weird because it's growing on me the more I play it.
Yeah.
As I like forget what Dead Rising is supposed to be. Like
it's working.
That's kind of like faint praise, but that's what it is. It's like, okay, on its own merits, this game's all right. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But then every time I'm reminded of how not Dead Rising it is, I'm like, oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like what they traded in for being less Dead Rising is being more generic. Really,
Right.
like it just feels more like a generic open world hack and slashy kind of game.
Yeah, like only playing the intro bits of it, but just seeing what they did to the inventory and like healing items and stuff.
Yeah.
It had this very much like, oh, they've streamlined the shit out of this game in a way that probably makes it better in a sense, but loses all of the charm. Or a lot of that charm.
Like I would almost say easier rather than better.
Okay.
Like so I'm on the third case file out of 7. I still haven't seen any psychopaths. I don't think they exist. Like there are maniacs is what they call them, but there's like, again, like I said last week, there's no cutscenes really around to those. Like they barely have any dialogue.
Do they behave in the same way? Like,
well, I mean,
they're boss characters.
There are unique. They're like unique enemy encounters, yes, but they're not as distinctive as the psychopaths were.
Okay.
They
don't really have stories. Or anything,
they don't have really. Some of them have names because they'll have a health bar over their head with a name on it, but like they barely get any dialogue or development at all. They're just like, it's a guy with a flamethrower, or like I hit one thing where I had to fight like an evil Santa Claus, and that was kind of weird. But even that was like just felt really underwhelming.
They don't have like a cutscene intro. Or
no,
anything.
Definitely not.
Man.
And the other thing is they're easy as hell, which is crazy because the old Dead Rising games
Right.
were hard as fuck in a lot of spots.
Yeah.
And these guys, I still haven't. I'm almost halfway through the game. I still haven't died yet. And all these like little boss encounters, even if you bother to wade in with a melee weapon, like they take maybe 5 or 6 hits with a decent average weapon and they go down. And you take so little damage in that game that like they'll chew through maybe a fourth of your health bar as you're just sitting there wailing on them, or you could just roll away from them and use one of the like there's a zillion ranged weapons in this game because like you can practically play it like a shooter if you want, and
that's not how I ever like that. That was always the thing about Dead Rising is it had guns, but they were terrible.
Yeah.
So it was that weird thing of like, oh well, this 2x4 with a fucking nail through it is way more effective than this assault rifle.
I always kind of liked that.
That was cool.
As weird
like,
as it was.
Goofy, it was dumb.
So now all the guns, especially the crafted guns, are crazy effective. And like when I fought the flamethrower guy, who was the closest thing to a full-on boss I've seen so far, like I just rolled away from him and just shot him like 5 times with one of the guns I had crafted, and he just died.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
But it's still fun exploring that the space is. It's still got enough like quirky shit in it that it's kind of satisfying rolling around, like finding a video game store with like Capcom costumes in it you can put on. Like I put on
I'm totally okay with a little fan service.
Like I put on a Zero costume from Mega Man X, and you saw that Akuma costume, and there's stuff like that.
That's super rad.
What was that free thing they introduced a couple years ago? Where it was like Street Fighter, Dead Rising stuff.
I don't think that was free.
That wasn't free.
It wasn't free. What was that thing?
It was DLC for Dead Rising 3.
Yeah.
Like
Super
they
turbo.
came out. Capcom
came out.
There were some cool ideas with
Yeah,
that.
they
I
made
always
it
have to
real
look up
goofy.
the title, but it's like some super
It
long.
is like a play on the old Street Fighter titles.
Like
with
they
a
threw in an
zillion-
EX Plus alpha in there.
Yeah.
Just
I
for
wonder if
good
that was
measure.
good.
I thought it was
I don't
pretty
know.
cool, man. Like,
Yeah?
I thought some of the
was
challenges
neat.
and definitely a shit ton of fan service in that one.
Huh.
And it was the right setting for it. It
Yeah.
was neat. It was totally cool. Yeah,
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got some DLC lined up for this one, but who knows if that will be worth a damn or not.
Weapon types. Are you seeing a bunch of new
Yeah.
stuff in that respect?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, yes, but they're all the same style of crafted weapon that they had in 3.
Okay.
It's a lot of that stuff again.
Any standouts that you find are
There's
particularly fun?
there's some stuff that's fun to use in there, sure,
Okay.
but it's
Do
all
they
very
Christmas them up? Do you like
not a
Does your
couple
bat
of
have,
spots.
like, lights
there's
wrapped around
there's
it?
a 2 or 3 Christmas weapons that I've
Okay.
seen. Like
Good.
there's oh gosh. A lot of it is just mishmashes of junk, it's like Christmas lights and fucking, I don't know, like a propane tank or whatever.
Are there any
Christmas?
Do you do any vehicle stuff in there?
Yeah, you can craft vehicles. They have that in 3, so
Yeah.
that's back. But like the outdoor sections have been so small that it almost feels like you don't even need to drive anywhere because
Right.
you
Huh.
to get from any point A to B, like you'll drive for maybe 30 seconds and then just hop out of the car and,
Oh, wow.
and do your thing. So like the space is not huge, but it's kind of fun exploring all the unique stores and finding different blueprints and stuff like that.
I'm really intrigued. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
worth
I like me
playing.
some Dead Rising.
It's worth
and-
playing, but like, yeah, you're going to miss out on a lot of the Dead Rising experience
Well,
with this.
I'm not going to miss that timer. I'm definitely, I don't know if I'm in
yeah.
the minority on that, but
Yeah,
I did
I-
not like it. I just
yeah.
want an open world to fuck around
They,
with.
yeah, you'll get that, even though it's
Okay.
not a big open world.
All right.
Yeah, they took out too much for me, but it's still entertaining. And the Frank West character is growing on me quite a bit.
The new
Like,
Frank West?
yeah. Like he is weirdly likable, as different as he is from the original. So that's cool. I cracked into The Last Guardian.
Oh, good.
Also,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm torn on that game. It's exactly what you think it is.
Sure.
But if you really liked those previous
Yeah,
games,
if you're
I
into
mean,
Team Eco stuff,
yeah.
I think you'll be totally happy with
Okay.
it. The complaints about like the controls and the camera being super stiff and unwieldy are not overblown. Like that stuff is really rough. But the behavior of the creature is like super impressive. Like the way that thing animates and acts and interacts with you and stuff, and like because it's huge, like you walk up to its feet, you have to pan the camera way up to even see its face. Like it's gigantic. So seeing something that big like interact with the environment,
Right.
like really like intricate ways, like it'll like scrunch down and crawl through little holes in ruins and like jump up like 100 feet in the air to like jump up on a ledge and stuff like that. Like seeing it move around the environment is like super
in ways
impressive.
that you kind of can't.
Yeah,
also,
and in some
so-
cases like you use it obviously to
Right.
get where you're going. Like sometimes you'll climb up its back and onto its head, and then it'll jump up so you can like jump up and grab a thing. Like just it's called Trico, just
Yeah.
in case anybody forgot. But seeing that thing like interact with the environment is the showpiece of that game for sure. Like it's super impressive stuff. But like the puzzle solving has been really straightforward from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
Really? How far are you into?
I'm
the
not
game?
super deep in.
Okay.
Just a couple hours probably.
Okay.
But it's so far it's been very straightforward environmental puzzle stuff of just like, well, I need to get way up there, so like how do I get Trico to like lift me here so I can climb up these ledges and then
That's the thing that scares me.
climb up a
Getting
chain.
him to do stuff.
it's not super explicit about how you do that stuff. Like I find that if I kind of walk over to where I can tell I obviously need to go, he'll just sort of, you can call him for one thing to make him come to where you are, but then he seems to just like randomly kind of like sit down or get in the posture you need him to be in to like climb up and do stuff.
Huh.
But it's not super reliable. Like he'll do it sometimes, and then
That
other times,
seems- in a puzzle-based game.
yeah, and
that
then
seems
and then
infuriating.
other times, like I'll hammer on the like yell at him button 3 or 4 times, trying to make him like get in the right spot.
Not only because it takes time for him to do something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, I haven't played this game, but this is just my worries
Yeah.
about it. If he doesn't do something, do you know that that's because
Yeah.
he's just being Trico,
Yes.
or because that is not the way to solve this puzzle?
that has definitely come up a couple times, even in the early parts that I'm on. I don't have a good answer for that yet. I'm not
Okay.
sure what is like the game just being intentionally sort of imprecise and what is like I'm trying to do the wrong thing.
You got to
Right.
get your bond level up.
I kind of feel like if I want like a interact with pet game, I want a game that is all about that.
Yeah,
like
Nintendogs.
a puzzle. Yeah, sure. I mean,
See, man.
I get, yeah, but like a game that has like a bunch of puzzle solving.
Yeah.
I think I would That doesn't sound.
Yeah, I mean, like
my thing at all.
Like the Team Eco stuff has always seemed like intentionally not mechanics heavy.
Right.
You know, like they don't throw a bunch of systems and meters and shit in
Yeah.
there, but like it a little bit more like guidance on like here's how you can make him do the things you want him to do would have been really nice here. But it seems like something you'd probably get a feel for as you get deeper into the game.
Well, and that's kind of the selling point, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that's what it would be like if you were working with a living creature.
Sure. And they kind of build up to that because like it very much doesn't trust you at the beginning of the game, and you have to do some stuff to like kind of make it come around.
Yeah.
So that stuff's cool, but yeah, like it sort of slows down your momentum here and there when you're like trying to solve a puzzle and it doesn't happen as fast as like you guys have said the same thing about Inside in some cases of just like
outthinking the game and
Yeah,
then just
like,
having to trudge through.
it's like, all right, I see those 3 handholds in that chain that you want me to climb up there. Now let's just get in position so I can do it. And then like you have to like yell at him 5 times.
Yeah, I wonder if he gets more like obedient. As
Yeah,
time
so
goes
that's
on.
the thing. Like there's a big mechanic around feeding him. Like he's got food.
Oh, sure.
All over there,
okay.
like barrels full of like glowing butterflies or whatever that he wants to eat all over the place.
Delicious.
And I don't know what the point of those things is other than getting him to come where you want him to go.
Raising that
'cause
bond
if you
level.
have the food,
Yeah.
like he'll come over to you and stuff. And yeah, like there might be some invisible like behavior meter going on. It's like, the more you feed him, the better he is about helping you out or something.
Is
But
he just useless if you don't feed him? Like, will he
That's the
refuse
thing.
to go to the next area?
I think he
or-
will eventually. Like,
Yeah.
But I think that's hearing Alex talk about having played it. It sounded like that there would just be moments in the game where he would do that, and there's always food nearby when that happens.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of
They do give you some cues, right? Like text shows up and says
there are button prompts. There are
Okay.
straight up button prompts that show up. Like if you're in a spot where you need to jump, it'll pop up a jump prompt.
Okay.
Like it'll just pop up the controller tooltip with like jump highlighted.
but
So
will it say
that's-
like Trico needs food?
No, like if there's a narrator, I think it's sort of a framing of like the main character, but older, like telling the story of what happened.
Really?
And that'll come in every once in a while. Like if you take too long, it'll pop in and say like, I beckoned the creature over to blah, 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 or whatever. So to kind of give you hints about what you should be doing.
Okay.
You
But,
feed him too much, does he poop?
He definitely poops. I haven't
He
seen
does?
it.
Okay.
There's
all
a
right,
trophy.
All right, I'm in.
There's
I'm
a
in.
trophy that's for the description is just like catch Trico in the act or
Yep.
something like that. I haven't seen it
Oh,
happen
Or
yet.
he's, or he's like humping something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Uh,
doesn't sound like pooping to me.
Yeah, I haven't quite managed to trigger that one yet.
Hmm.
But yeah, the game's cool. It is a slow burn for sure, but that's kind of what you're signing up for with Team Eco's games.
I can see that.
like you-
Performance-wise, I've heard some
yeah, I've been playing it on a pro
bad stuff.
at
yeah.
1080, which you have to specify because like it runs differently in each mode apparently. And so on a pro at 1080 is apparently the only way to get like a good solid 30 frames a second out of it.
Wait, I'm sorry. A good solid
Yeah,
30 frames?
Yeah, like Alex was playing it on a regular PS4,
Yeah,
and
that
I've
thing-
seen a lot of other people say as well that it runs pretty rough
Man, okay.
on an old PS4, and also at 4K on a Pro, it's got issues.
I'm sure.
But it's been fine for me.
Okay.
And it looks like there's definitely spots where you can tell it's a PS3 game. You know, there are just parts of the landscape that are a little flat looking, but like overall, they did like an amazing job of dressing it up and making it look appropriate for the PS4, especially the creature, just the way it animates and behaves is like super impressive.
It's cool that it's out.
Yeah.
It's cool that came out. Final Fantasy came
Yeah,
out. Like we
and
can-
it is
yeah.
not a giant piece of garbage.
It's not. It is
Yeah,
not at
right.
all. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is a known quantity. If anything, you know, it is just. It's kind of. I think exactly what everybody expected it to be. But it seems pretty good so far.
People were expecting a lot. So
It's true. They did wait pretty much as long as this website has been around. I think.
Yeah, I guess so.
I feel
huh?
like.
yeah.
I feel like I remember them announcing that game right around the time this thing launched.
07, 08,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep. Yep. That's right. For sure. Like I remember back when we used to post trailers obsessively every time they came out.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I remember posting Last Guardian trailers. All right. That's the games we've been playing.
All right.
Let's take a quick break. I'm sure Dan needs to pee.
Sure.
All right. We'll be right back. Okay, who wants to talk about the news?
Me!
Sure,
You guys
definitely.
like some news?
Love it.
News is my life. Look at
Talk-
me.
talk
News
about
junkies.
Whoa,
There it is.
That's not all of it. That's
Yeah!
Whoa, man, the news theme is bumping this week.
The other music didn't stop.
That's okay.
It didn't stop.
kinda liked-
I couldn't stop it. I
Kinda
tried
like-
to stop it.
Kind of
It
like
just
that
wouldn't.
mashup you had going on there.
Yeah, this is a remix.
What's it
stop
up?
the
Damn.
Worked pretty well.
Damn.
Beat mash and everything.
Where'd you find that one?
I made it.
All right.
After the
Soundstage.
goddamn avalanche of stuff last week from the awards and trade show stuff, kind of a slow week this week for news
As
the year wraps up. But here's what I have. Super Mario Run is out on Thursday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
2 days from now.
So I played that.
Whoa, really?
Oh, by the way,
Wait, what?
I forgot to mention that I played that. It is on every single Apple device in an Apple store right now.
Oh, right. Yes, I saw that they were doing demos.
Yeah, so I went out and had to be at a mall to handle some mall business, and went in there to look at iPad prices for a while, and realized like, oh shit, it's on all of these. I guess I should probably play this. Yeah, and so I played just the first stage.
I assume what they're running is the like pre-money, like the free demo version.
It has like a thing on it saying this was created specifically for demonstration.
Oh,
it's
not even
probably
not even
the
final product.
free.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the build is or whatever, but they had it in there. I will say, like Mario, that new Super Mario art style, as much as I don't really care for it, this is probably the sharpest it's ever been on these Retina screens and stuff. Like it's a really high res, crazy looking Mario.
All right.
But it is just directly that new art style, right?
Yep.
Like nothing different about it.
Yeah, the coins, everything. It's that. It's the music. It's it's all that stuff.
Are there
I don't
WAs?
think it was.
Okay.
But I can't say that for sure. It was loud in there. If it did wah, they didn't stop to fucking dance, at least. So,
how is it?
It's Super Mario runs.
Okay.
So are you
At typical Mario running speed.
Okay.
And
like holding B running speed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a sprint.
That's a run.
Sure. Yeah.
That's
He's
a run.
a speedy guy.
Otherwise, it's a
I
walk.
think about runners as like being very fast and oh shit,
Right.
oh shit,
I
oh
think
shit.
like Cannonball or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this
Is this more of just
is
a
not that.
Is this just a touch-based platformer?
Yeah.
Really?
And he runs to the right, and then occasionally there are boxes that have pause icons on them, and when you get to those, he'll stop.
Okay.
Super Mario stop, and then in my case, in that first level, there'd be like coins would appear in multiple directions. So it'd be like, oh, I could jump and take this high route, or I could just fall and he would take the low route. There are enemies to jump on, and you get coins for jumping on each one because that's kind of the score at the end. It's like you hit the flagpole and get coins. You jump on guys, you get coins. At the end, it's like, here's how many coins you got. And that'll be a leaderboard thing, I assume.
Do you jump by tapping?
Yeah.
Okay, and then like the
And
actual
then in
running,
the air, you tap to do the spin thing.
Oh, the little like float thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it basically a one thumb button or game?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
it.
good.
Are
I'm
you
glad they
swiping-
finally took the control out of a Super Mario game.
Yeah.
That's what I've been
Everyone hated
wanting.
that about Mario games. Yeah. Are you swiping left and right at any point to make him bounce around, or
No,
he's auto running the whole time
runs,
unless
yeah.
he's on this?
Do you
pause
ever
block?
change direction?
I thought I saw in some trailers that there was
Yeah,
like
some like wall bounce. stuff,
a thing where maybe you would hit a thing and then run the other way for a while. So it seems like the levels could support that, but I don't know that it didn't. That definitely didn't seem like the sort of game where I'm gonna make him run a different way. It seems like the level will dictate that. But again, I only played one stage, so if there are more mechanics in the later levels, they're not represented in what I saw.
I mean, Nintendo is really good at introducing new mechanics.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
But I will say that just like it felt really slow in a way that, like, comparing it to other runners and stuff like that are out of the gate, fast moving reflex games, this didn't seem like that. There are more stages, obviously, but
My hope is that it starts like that. And like you look at any classic 2D Mario game, and the first level is not, like 1-1's a classic because we all remember it, but it's not super hard or taxing or anything. Like I hope that things do get more difficult and introduces more.
yeah, you would hope.
mechanics.
And I suspect they almost assuredly will. It's just a matter of like, what does that ramp look like? How hard will it actually get? Like, what is the late game in that thing?
Is the goal just like, hey, I got more coins than people on my Game Center list?
That
or?
seems like it. I
The
don't know.
Game Center doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Well, the app is gone. It's gone.
Really?
Yeah, they eliminated Game Center as an app from iOS
They did?
as of 10. Yes, that icon is gone. You don't have to take your phone out. I know what I'm talking about.
I have to try now. That's
It's gone.
The little thing still pops up at the
Some
top
of
of the
the
screen saying welcome.
that's what I'm
Dan."
saying. Some of the functionality exists in specific games, but
So how do I see
You're
like,
right.
my friends?
I'm
You're right.
searching
you're
for
right.
Game
yeah,
Center.
it's
It's gone.
They removed it
How do you see like your friends?
in the game, as far as I know.
Oh, game
I haven't
by
played.
game, huh?
I haven't played any games since I upgraded 10. But
Not missing that functionality.
I guess.
Not really. When that thing first launched, I added a bunch of people I don't know because I started getting a bunch of friend requests and went sure, and then Like, all right, here's this useless friend list for games that no one actually cares enough about to use the friends list.
Once in a while, I would look at achievements for
like
a game I really
Incorporated
liked.
has some achievements and has like some leaderboard
Yeah.
stuff.
Or,
in
it was good for score-based games.
Yeah.
Anything with a leaderboard. But I mean, my understanding is that stuff is still in there on a game-by-game basis. Right. It's just in the games now and not in an app.
How do you add a friend then?
I don't know.
Weird. I had no idea they'd take that out.
I ain't Apple. Don't look at me.
Jeff, are there like 3 big coins per level, or are you graded at the end like
Are there
2 out of 3 stars?
Are there any red coins?
Are
there secret exits?
There are multiple pathways and coins that will kind of appear as you're doing stuff to kind of guide you to the next platform. Again, this is all from the very first level, so again, I don't know for sure.
I wonder if there's any kind of world map with like if there's alternate
It's
endings.
it's kind of a screen that it looks like it was just like bop 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 level like 3 levels.
So not a Mario
in
World,
and then kind of just a huge like scrolling.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a thing like
and
if
most of them were grayed out. So,
okay,
yeah.
So
that would like the Mario 3 thing would be a good way to like add another dimension to it. Like if you could collect power-ups or whatever during levels and then choose to use them between levels.
Or the world thing where if you get an alternate exit, it just opens up a new path and all that. Like this sounds a little more linear as far as the way the worlds are.
This seems like a game you're going to play. Like you don't want a big world thing. You just want a list of levels because you're competing for score and doing leaderboard stuff. Like it like the idea of a big overworld map and trying to like make this look more like a real Mario game seems like the antithesis of what they're going for.
Okay.
And it seems like that would actually probably get in the way.
Yeah. They are pushing it so hard, like as far as Miyamoto getting out there and playing with the roots on Fallon and all this stuff. Like they're really into pushing this game.
It makes sense. I mean, this is a way for them to reach an audience that has not connected with their stuff in years. Yeah, and probably
Mario's
owns an iPhone.
Household name.
Yeah,
it's definitely their biggest phone game or whatever. Like I guess Miitomo is the only thing.
I mean, it's
out, right?
kind of their only phone game. I don't think Miitomo even counts really. But speaking of Miyamoto. The whole reason I brought that up is that part of this publicity blitz has revealed that it's an online-only game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
That's
which
why.
kind of stinks.
Super Mario Run?
Yes.
Most free-to-play iOS games are like all but online required, and it's been like that for a long time.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Most like there are tons of puzzle games and card games and stuff that people can play on the subway and don't need the connection all the time.
Yeah, you're right. No, I mean there are plenty of reasons to allow that. And they probably could craft this game in such a way that allow it.
Miyamoto straight up came out and said it's because of piracy.
Yeah.
Huh. So that's kind of a bummer.
It's it's a factor of like them have. Well, I guess they're only going to have one in-app purchase. I guess was to unlock the full game.
Was it what is it $10?
Yeah,
the full game.
I think so. So yeah, that the always online thing prevents people from doing weird stuff around that because there are numerous ways for people with jailbroken phones to not pay for stuff
or on Android.
And yes, definitely.
I mean, obviously it's a difficult situation,
and people will still probably find a way to do it.
Probably, but it is not at all hard to envision scenarios where you would want to play this game without internet on your phone, and that stinks.
Yeah.
Some games are robust enough to at least like check at launch, and then if you drop a connection in the middle, it's not going to immediately boot you out or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of other online focused games still can handle that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, like not being able to play it when you go underground or on a plane or something is kind of crappy.
Mm-hmm.
But
the plane thing.
I think like there are plenty of phone games that are kind of crappy. Like that's that kind of comes with the territory.
Okay.
To be honest, like I look at it like, yep, okay.
If you want to put it in those terms,
like they're making a game for phones. It's going to have weird things going on with it.
Get a Game Boy Micro.
That's how that
Problem
stuff
solved.
works.
I guess I could agree with you there.
That thing's got a D-pad on it. You can run to the left whenever the fuck you want,
or the right.
Sure,
either way.
You could duck.
What?
Go one way and then the other, and then stop.
No. I don't know. Maybe that game will be cool. But the thing that I came away from it thinking is like, okay, they made a mobile game. Like it doesn't feel like they're cramming existing Mario onto that thing. It feels like they took some mechanics and concepts that they've used in other games and very much made a game that was mobile first. And that's probably the smart thing to do.
I mean, how can you make a full Mario game on there? Like, any kind of on-screen D-pad stuff that never feels precise enough for platforming.
Although you are running to the right a lot in Mario.
Yeah. You could just as easily have like a hold this spot on the screen to stop and then let off to run. There's other stuff they could have done if they wanted more control that is not put a D-pad on the screen. that is still in line with what you might expect from a mobile game. But also the kind of auto runner is like a classic genre that like has been going for years and years.
Yeah,
So
and if you're trying to reach a new audience, like having something be that familiar is the perfect
it's
way
like
to
the
do it.
familiarity of Mario with the familiarity of like the runner concept. I think, it makes a lot of sense. They will probably make a ton of money off of it. But I will say that playing that level of it, like I am less interested in seeing more of it than I was prior to having played it. But at the same time, you play it and you go, oh, of course it's this game. This is exactly the thing that they said they were going to make. It's exactly what it looked like. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's out in 2 days. So we will see. This business with Final Fantasy 15 patch that's coming out soon is kind of weird.
Yeah,
Did you guys
what
see
the
this?
hell is
Yeah.
going on with this?
They're adding a ton of like story stuff to Final Fantasy 15
So like DLC, like side story?
like
kind
free
of
stuff.
Like they are
Okay.
to the core game
Yeah.
that a lot of people have already
Wait.
finished.
To existing
Yes.
stories?
They are patching the story to
Make it
clear
better.
up confusion.
Yes.
Like there are chapters of that game that are very light on story, and you don't necessarily get a clear sense of characters' motivations. There's also some stuff that was only explained in that Kingsglaive thing.
Yeah. They're straight up
Which is
adding.
what?
It's,
Is that the movie?
That was
Yeah.
the CG movie,
Okay.
That like
not the anime.
Not the
that
anime.
is kind of
I've heard that is very important if you care about the story.
right. Yeah, because that stuff's not in the game.
Right.
And so I guess maybe adding some of that context wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I guess.
Unless
But it sure is kind of crappy for people who
Totally.
already
I
bought
think
and
that's-
finished the game.
that's a really insane thing to do.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, but would I need to like replay those sections?
it's all
or
it's
something?
all
And
from the
am-
sound of
am
it.
I able
It's
to?
all late game stuff.
Okay. Still.
Chapter 13, which I certainly haven't gotten to yet, is the one they call out by name as saying they're adding stuff to. And there's a character named Ravis that they talk about as being somebody whose like backstory they're going to flesh out, or they're going to add cutscenes that'll like the wording is why Ravis walked the path he did is one of the things that will be explained with the new cutscenes they're adding.
And it
So-
sounds like this will take a while because they're going to go record
Yes,
VO
yeah,
for it.
It straight up
And-
says like, yeah, we'll need to record and localize voice in other languages, and we'll let you know when that stuff is coming. And they're also adding like a bunch of new abilities, like new spells and other like gameplay additions.
So like the game got pretty hard around that point too, is my understanding.
Okay.
So they're kind of maybe smoothing some of that stuff out.
Yeah, and that sounds like that's the relatively near term stuff. But then they talk about adding a bunch of extra modes for like post game playthroughs.
They're adding a new game plus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it says other features we have in mind include letting you carry over stats from a previous playthrough. I mean, that's fine. That's more post game stuff. Let's see. Trying to find. They mentioned some other stuff. They're talking about like customizable avatars, adding new playable characters. Like,
All right.
it's just it's a weird range of like mid game stuff to add to a game that already shipped.
It's,
Yep.
I mean,
That-
it sounds to me like, all right, our ship date is coming up. What things can we afford to lose?
Yeah.
So that we can focus on the stuff that really matters.
Yes,
Right.
that it does.
Well, this whole cutscene we haven't done yet.
Yes.
All right, forget about it. We'll patch it in later.
Story probably makes
Fuck.
sense without this stuff in there. Maybe we can add it later,
Yeah.
which they are now doing.
I don't know how I feel about
Yeah,
this.
it's a weird situation. Like, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of people being like super upset with the state of the shipping game, but like,
Right, yeah,
guarantee those people are going to feel left out having already played through it, and
Oh, yeah.
it's an odd.
I'm
kind of-
totally cool with like, more modes and
Yeah.
and stuff. And if it's like,
Totally.
side story stuff but like patching in stuff to the original game
Yeah.
that I would then have to go and play through again.
But if they're adding modes that would make you want to play through the game again,
And like a new
there's
game
still an
plus kinda
opportunity for people to see that stuff the second time through.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe all that stuff once they're on the other side of all of it adds up to a good reason to replay the game.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Also, like one of the things they mentioned,
or a good reason to not play the game until they're done. I mean,
right. Yeah.
right. They mentioned like one of the things they think about adding is quote new bosses with exclusive rewards and achievements and limited time hunts.
Elusive targets.
Yeah.
Kind of from the sound of it. But yeah, like talking to Peter about it, like post game, like post story, there's still plenty of reason to like roam around the world doing hunts and like getting better stuff. And there's a lot, it's kind of Final Fantasy style. They're post game, like super hard bosses
Right,
to go
yeah.
after and stuff like that. So it sounds like they're going to add more stuff to kind of keep you hanging around playing it after you're done with the story. So that's not the end of the world, but it's specifically those like story and chapter improvements in particular that come off more than a little strange.
I'd like to hear from someone like Peter who has finished the game. Like, I
How
want to
eager
ask
he
Peter,
is to, like,
did
get
you
back
notice
into it.
Chapter 13 was
Right.
really
Yeah.
light and
I mean,
weird?
I think that does seem to be a pretty common.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
definitely criticism saying like, why does this character? He's just like, this character shows up and does this. Like,
All right.
why?
So it's not
there's
a
no good
minor
reason
thing.
for this. There's yeah.
And that stuff.
Because they very well could have just like, a year from now released Final Fantasy 15 the director's cut and
Right.
put everything back in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or just
I guess.
Gave everybody a 30-day
International
Or
edition.
not free.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yes, Final Fantasy 15 International. Yeah, I mean, I guess good on them for putting the stuff in for free as opposed to going that route, but it's still
Because they still do
not
have a
ideal.
season pass that they're selling,
Yes.
so they've
Right.
still got that stuff
Yeah.
as well. So
not an amazing look for them, but better than nothing, I guess. The Chinese government is requiring games with loot boxes to now start listing the odds on their loot boxes,
yeah,
which is kind of nuts.
that seems like probably a good thing.
Yeah, totally. I would certainly love to see the numbers on some of that stuff.
Don't
Yeah.
they have to do that with like scratcher lotto tickets here?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like
The
Powerball?
odds of that stuff
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Or like the Monopoly game at McDonald's?
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. When you have
What's
like a
that?
contest and those sorts of rules,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
But
definitely have to
that,
show
that
off.
stuff is so fine printed that you can
Yeah.
barely
Yeah,
find
yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Even if you know that it's there.
And then this Chinese thing, I think it's like they have to post it on a website. It has to be there for a certain amount of time. Like
Yeah.
the kind of
Yeah.
proposed stuff has some stuff like that. So it doesn't seem like it'll necessarily be right next to the box. Like, hey, here are
Right.
your odds.
Right.
The
But
way
it-
you would want it,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it's not going to be right there on the box, but
and also I bet that this stuff will also be completely different for the Chinese market compared to how it is here.
I mean
so
the odds themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
I bet.
the crappy part. Because the hope would be like, well, that info will be out there on the Chinese versions of the game. People can just get that and spread it around
But
the
the
internet.
Chinese versions of the game monetize so differently.
Yeah, but
generally speaking,
yeah, but if
that
those versions just straight up have completely different odds, then
I bet that's possible.
yeah, then that is way less useful for us.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That'll vary game by game.
A lot of games out there with loot boxes these days.
Yep.
So, yeah, not too much else to say about that until we see how it manifests. But that could be cool
Merry Christmas loot box.
for us. Or not.
Yep.
The latest Switch rumor. This comes out of Eurogamer, is that there will be a GameCube Virtual Console on the Switch,
Cool.
Ooh.
which I think that's the first time they've done GameCube games, right?
Yes, the Wii could play the discs if you
Right.
just put them in,
Right.
but you've never been able to download
Yeah,
GameCube
and
games.
the Wii U didn't have anything like that.
No.
Right.
No.
Eurogamer is saying, what are the three? The three rumored games so far are Super Smash Bros. Melee, Luigi's Mansion, and Super Mario Sunshine
Excellent.
for the Switch.
Okay.
Those are good.
No
games.
aggressive inline.
Not as yet.
It's the definitive version of that game. BMX
Yeah.
Triple X.
Billy Hatcher.
Was that a GameCube exclusive?
Was it?
Yes.
I think it might
I
have
feel
been.
like it was.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
so.
What
think
about
you're right.
Phantasy Star Online Episode 3 CARD?
Okay.
I lost my fucking copy of that. I've been looking at copies to buy online.
Why? Why? Don't
in luck.
do that.
That game's okay.
Wow,
That
come on.
game is okay.
Was Beautiful Joe on anything but GameCube? That was part of the Capcom.
Oh, yeah,
that ended,
right.
up, that ended
Like
up coming to
PSP and
PS2.
It
Yeah,
did?
there's a PS2 version of
Okay.
Beautiful Joe,
Yeah.
if I'm
Yeah.
not
What
mistaken.
about Red Hot Rumble?
Right. That's that PSP game,
Yes.
I think so.
I think that's right.
PNO3.
right? Mm-hmm.
Have they confirmed
Kino 3 is all right.
other consoles for the virtual console stuff?
No, I mean
No?
you would assume all the previous ones
I
would
would
be
hope
there.
so, yeah.
You would also
You
hope
would-
that your purchases
Right.
would come over.
I would not assume
that's-
that at all.
No, I wouldn't assume it either. But that's
They introduced a new Nintendo account thing
Right,
that's
like
true.
a
This is
year
the-
or two ago.
this is the stuff that is supposed to that should do.
Fingers crossed.
If they're like, oh, buy it all again, we'll get it right this time. Honest, Like,
They-
nope.
Third time.
Nope.
They did have the thing where if you bought it on the Wii and you wanted to get it on the Wii U, it was super cheap. So instead of the full $6 for an NES game, you'd pay $1.
No,
But you could,
absolutely
yeah,
not.
that still sucks.
Under no
It sucks.
circumstances.
That's almost worse because they're acknowledging that you already bought it from
It's
them
almost
once,
like,
and
hey, we
it's
could do
technically
this.
possible, and they're
Yeah,
still making
yeah.
you pay for it again.
but you can tap on the gamepad to save your state now.
That's where the buck. Sure.
Yeah.
You could system
I
transfer
bought
from a
all those
Wii to a
again.
Wii U and just play them in Wii mode.
Yeah,
you're
but you gotta
literally
boot
paying
the whole-
$1 to
you have
see it
boot
on a
the
different
whole
fucking
emulator
menu.
thing and a different screen. Because I think when you went through the Wii mode, you couldn't do it on the gamepad screen.
Oh well, okay, then yeah, I'll give them more money. for
Changes
that.
everything.
I bought all of those again.
How much did you
You're
play
the
'em?
problem.
I played through Super Metroid again.
Okay.
Mario World every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played through some of them.
Okay. Eurogamer says this stuff is being handled in Europe. The Nintendo European
They would say that.
Yeah.
Nintendo European Research and Development Team,
NERD.
or NERD.
Pharrell Williams is
yes,
doing this.
Yes.
This is where Chad has been all this time.
Same studio that did the NES. What was
the
it? NES Classic Edition
thing.
Yeah. Same people that handled that stuff, apparently. That's kind of it for that rumor, but Eurogamer's been pretty spot on with all their Switch stuff.
It's got to be emulation, right? You
Guess.
would think.
For GameCube.
Unless
Yeah,
they
most
crammed a
probably.
GameCube in there.
No, there's definitely I don't.
It's
The
essentially
Switch
what
is
was happening.
8 GameCubes taped together.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they're gonna have to keep the cost down on that as much as they possibly can. So
You would assume they would do it in software.
yeah, have
but-
to
but I don't-
imagine this is some kind of emulation.
It's the Wii U doesn't support GameCube discs, right?
No,
No.
Yeah.
not discs. No,
Controllers.
just right. Yeah, it'll take the controllers fine. You just can't play the games on
Yeah.
it.
Wii U won't take GameCube discs? Is that right?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't play them.
Huh.
Just
okay.
just Wii. I
Did not know.
I feel like I just saw this that full on Switch reveal is going to be at like 11 p.m.
Yeah, the
US
January
US
12th
time.
one or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
Like
Japan time.
the Japanese event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget where
Yep.
I saw that, but I think it's going to be here. It is. Yes.
11 p.m.
Yes. Oh, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
So 8 p.m. Pacific on January 12th is when that stuff will be happening.
All right. We'll know more soon.
Yes.
What day of the week is that?
Ooh, I don't know.
Tuesday or Thursday?
Have to look
That
that
was
up.
Thursday.
Not to lean on the obvious joke too much, but I can't help myself. Valve put out Dota 3 over the weekend.
I heard it was
What?
Dota 7. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
3.0?
Dota patch 7.0 came out,
Mm.
which is a huge deal because they've been on 6.x for fucking years.
Yeah, they
Oh.
do really small
Years
incremental.
and years and years.
Does it earn its 7?
It is easily.
0.0?
I mean,
easily,
they made major changes to the map, right?
Yeah.
They
What?
made huge changes to the UI
Well,
in terms of
Can't
stuff
do
like
that.
major map changes to people who play the game.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they
Oh,
rearrange the
right.
lanes or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. Like it's still like very
There's
broadly.
a fourth lane.
Right, right.
Yeah,
It's
no,
nothing
that's-
that
yeah.
crazy, but
It's a first-person shooter.
but
Yeah.
for people who are deep into Dota, it might as well be that crazy because
And they added the Battleborn stuff. The
What?
every 5 levels you get to choose one of 2 abilities.
That is one of the most
Ah.
fundamental things they have changed. Is
Yeah.
so it used to be
Dota is now a hobby grade game.
I guess.
Whoa.
I don't play a lot of other MOBAs, so I don't know how widespread that stuff is. But
Mhm.
yeah, I wonder if that's taken from other more popular MOBAs. Yeah, like generally every hero would have three skills and an ult, with a few exceptions of heroes who had more. But it used to be like you could level any of those 3 skills, or you could just buff your stats. So they have taken out that ability to spend a point on stats instead of your abilities,
Huh.
and now added like a talent tree where every I forget what
I
the-
think it's like it's
Oh,
4
it's like-
times over the course
I
of the
think,
level.
yeah, I think it maybe is it 5, 10,
Yeah.
15, and 20.
That
Yeah.
sounds right.
Every hero now has at each level there are 2 like actual unique things to pick from,
And
So
you can
did
only
they have
pick
to-
one. Just like
And you-
Battleborn,
and
you
you
can
pick-
only pick one.
and you pick
Oh.
one or the other.
Or like
they have to
Diablo 2? Is that how Diablo 2 works?
Maybe it's like a pretty standard like sort of talent tree implementation, just kind of a straight linear thing.
Okay.
So did
But
they
it's
have
huge.
to
It
add
is
a bunch of new abilities for each character?
For,
to make this
I
happen?
didn't look at every character, but the ones I did look at, it's more like extending things they already have
Okay.
in specific ways. Like
Oh, this attack now has more area of effect or
yeah, like
stuff
it's
like
like
that.
the range on this is higher, or this guy's ult doesn't take mana anymore, or
Okay.
stuff like that.
It seemed
But
like
it is-
a lot of numbers tweaks
Yeah.
of like either you get and you choose one over the other at that level, and you can never get both.
Huh.
So it's
And-
like either you get this range boost or this mana thing, or
And
It
it-
sounds
whatever.
like an insane amount of work.
and again, like I'm sure it doesn't sound that crazy to people who aren't deep into the game to say like, oh, Skeleton King's ult now doesn't take mana if you take that perk at level 20 or whatever. But that's fucking
It
huge.
seems like stuff that would change
It
the
is,
game
like,
fundamentally.
at a competitive level, or
Yeah.
even just for people who play it seriously. It's like it completely changes everything.
So would
about
you
the
say
game.
this has the potential to either revitalize or to destroy?
Oh, I don't think it'll destroy.
Mm.
Well, who can say what will happen? But like they have been so careful about making big changes and balancing it.
and they added a new
over time.
character too, right?
Yeah, Monkey King's in there,
Oh,
or
cool.
whatever his actual name is. Apparently, he can disguise himself as items
Was it
Okay.
Monkey
around the
King?
map.
Alright.
There's a Monkey King?
Yeah.
Totally. Let's take a journey to the west.
Did you hear that monkeys might have the physical ability to produce speech, but only their brains
Oh,
are
what?
what's lacking?
Oh, but like they have the tongue muscles or
Yeah,
what?
and like
Wow,
vocal
weird.
cords and
But
stuff.
they can do the hand motions.
Right.
Yeah, so their brains
Hands
are
are
clearly...
different than voices.
It's true.
Yeah, but if their brains can understand the concept of language and talking and stuff. You ever see that Project Nem?
Language
people that
isn't
tried to
talking.
raise a monkey like a baby?
Language isn't talking.
Language?
Talking is language.
You use oh boy. You use your my brain hurts just trying to wrap around this here.
Yep.
Monkey King.
Yeah. Monkey
Okay, that
King.
I get.
Yes. It's crazy. It's like the top to bottom. They have done so much to this game. I haven't got to try it. We've been so deep into Game of the Year and wrap up stuff that I don't actually even have Dota installed right now.
Smart.
Yeah. But I'm super curious about this stuff. Like they changed the UI. Like
Right.
they're now, from what I can tell, starting to dig into changes that they're changing things that were previously constrained by the fact that this thing was Warcraft 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like things about Warcraft 3 that held certain parts of this game back are gone. Like the UI used to be like there's a strip at the top and then like a third of the screen at the bottom is all just fucking UI. So the actual game is like this, like just a cutout. They've now like stripped down the UI enough and condensed it around the edges of the screen that the game is actually basically full screen with just little like widgets around. Like
that stuff looked nice.
Yeah,
like
more
look at the
modern
screenshots
games.
of it, and
Yeah.
you know, it seems like they did the work to like all their custom UI skins or whatever. Like they updated all those.
Yeah,
to
all the
work
HUDs,
and,
all the old HUDs that you may have spent money on, just like map right over to the new UI.
Yeah, like that stuff I thought looked that it modernizes it in a way that
Yeah.
that seems all right.
And even little stuff like, the whole 6-item limit is another Warcraft 3 thing. Like that came out of the fact that in that game, characters could only have like 6 slots or whatever. But now they've, I haven't looked too deep into how this works, but they've added a backpack where you can carry more items with you. And I'm guessing you don't get any of the, like you can't use the active items or get the passives out of items in the backpack.
And it's I read a little about this, and it seems like your cooldowns will operate at half speed if it's in your backpack.
Oh, interesting.
And there's a cooldown from equipping an item, so it's like it'll take you 6
interesting.
seconds to move
Okay.
something from backpack to active, I guess.
Even that stuff has like massive pro play implications because like pros are so good at swapping items around and maximizing the benefit they get out of stuff like that. But again, it's like that's a bunch of shit that was there because it was a mod to begin with, and they are actually starting to build on stuff that has just been a part of the game for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It is like the range of changes in this is like impossible to sit here and run down from top to
Some
bottom.
guy ran a stream for over 8 hours breaking down the patch notes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is by far the biggest change to Dota, like probably ever. Certainly since Valve put out Dota 2.
Did I play against bots yet?
Yes.
They
added
yes.
bots.
In fact,
Workshop.
Yeah, there's always
Really?
been Valve bots in there, but now players can implement their own AI bots.
So I could actually practice the game before heading in.
Well, there's always been bot matches, but the Dota bots were not good previously. So like they're basically turning it over to the community to let people make the AI better.
So theoretically, you could have AI on AI, different AI bots fighting each other, like bot tournaments, all kinds of weird stuff.
Set that as my screensaver.
Yeah.
There's
Replace DEF CON.
There's so much crazy shit. Like there's the whole pre-match process is different now in terms of drafting heroes, and I think you can even buy your starting items before the match starts now.
Oh my god!
The fact that you're saying things that I understand as changes is dramatic.
And all of that is on top of, they have like 5 separate pages on their site of like the top level changes, and then there's like actual patch notes that are like a mile fucking long of things they've added and tweaked. It's really crazy how much they've done. I don't know if it's going to make the game any easier to get into.
Oh no,
none of that seemed like it was stuff that was necessarily going to make it more friendly or anything like that.
But yeah, for people who are deep into the game, it's practically a new game. It's really crazy. Like it kind of reminds me of that like pedantic feeling I always had that like I wish they hadn't called it Dota 2. Like should have just called it Dota. Or something less sequel sounding and more just like, this is Dota. This is the game now.
They should have called it This is Dota.
Sure. The Dota. Let's see.
Yeah, I wonder if you compared this with what Dota 2 was when it came out and assume that didn't change with all this incremental stuff, if these could exist as Dota 2 and Dota 3.
It pretty much could. Yeah. knowing what the original Dota 2 beta looked like. Like, they didn't even have nearly all the heroes from actual Dota in at that point. It was like a real bare bones thing.
Also, they've correct me if I'm wrong, but if they've been trying to keep Dota 1 up to date with the Dota 2 changes, right? Does this then break that too?
I'd have to check, but probably.
Yeah, I would imagine that these changes are sweeping in a way that probably makes it really hard for them to do it to Dota 1.
Definitely none of that stuff can go back into that Warcraft 3 map, but I think they said at the International that Monkey King would be the first Dota 2 exclusive hero.
Okay.
Because they got the last one in there finally.
Okay, so maybe then this is the break.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the case. Yeah, it is a crazy time for that game.
I wonder if this will end up being like the Counter-Strike 1.6 of Dota, that like everyone else is overplaying the old one. And
yeah, I don't know. Every time that like,
I mean, you tell me what the temperature is from the community.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I mean, this is by far the biggest change they've ever made, but even when they've made other similarly pretty big changes, like I've never seen anybody get super pissy. It's like, it was better before. Like people, the community seems
they're not adding riot shields, so.
Right, yes, that's as long as they keep those out of there, everything will be fine. But yeah, people seem extremely willing to go along with all the changes they make. I mean, just, most of the changes seem pretty smart.
Okay.
For the most part.
That's cool. That's yeah.
Yeah, that stuff seems wild. I really want to check it out. The last thing I've got, I don't even know how interesting this is, but some weird stuff been going on with Denuvo, that's anti-piracy stuff.
Right.
In a lot of PC games. It's been removed from Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also taken out of Inside recently.
Right.
And Denuvo's been the one that has been like by far the hardest to crack. Like you see games taking months to be cracked.
Yeah, or that sometimes you've seen Denuvo get bypassed, but not actually cracked.
Not even,
like
not actually broken.
Other kind of weaknesses exploited, and stuff like that. But like, yeah, Denuvo's been that was the DRM that had like some of these other groups going like, we're looking at the end of games getting cracked here, guys. Like, wrap it up. Like, we're give them another year to iterate, and it'll be impossible for us. And then it actually, like, not long after that, they were like, "Oh wait,
we got it.
We got this. All right, okay."
We figured it out.
It's not easy, but we have found a reliable way to do it. We just need to take the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it that Denuvo has a thing where if your game gets cracked, you get your money back as the developer?
I've seen that floating around, but I haven't seen that confirmed.
Okay.
It seems to be a rumor or a theory.
Yeah.
But not actually. It's not confirmed. That may be the case. Yes, I pulled this story off of Kotaku, and they straight up say in there, the biggest rumor is that Denuvo offers developers a money back guarantee if a game is cracked within 3 months. But the alleged main stipulation is that developers have to remove the Denuvo tech to get that refund.
Yeah.
But like Inside and Doom have been out way longer than 3 months, and that stuff just got removed. So who knows what's going on with that? Is Denuvo the one that was in Just Cause 3?
Yeah.
Which I'd swear I saw recently. That game's been out a year and it still hasn't been cracked, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you might be right. I think the last Tomb Raider had it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And Denuvo's also the one that people claim like eats up horsepower, right?
I think the claim was that it moved a lot of files around on your hard drive.
Okay, because of encryption stuff.
Yeah, and that was causing a lot of like out of sequence reads and writes that were harder on SSDs than a game normally is, and that sucks.
Okay.
I think that's what it was,
but not hitting game performance necessarily.
I think it was something that had the potential to hit game performance, but not. I don't know if that was ever proven out.
Okay.
I remember like 10 years ago, hearing about different copy protection schemes all the time and how terrible they were.
Oh yeah.
But
dude, fucking secure ROM was like the worst thing ever.
But then that died off for a long time.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of a good thing because it stopped being as interfering with.
Yeah, I mean, well, you started seeing developers like CD Projekt started taking more like customer friendly approaches to that stuff of like, instead of we're gonna like lock you out of this game, we are going to make it so good that you can't help but pay for it. Like that was literally their line with Witcher 3 was just like we're not putting DRM in this game. We think it's good enough that you'll want to buy it.
Yeah,
and we hope you agree.
And I think that that's all lined up with like that happens on the heels of years of Steam sales and years of people building up their Steam library and getting games for extreme discounts and like people just having more and more reasons to buy games. and for it just getting easier to buy a game than it is to track down pirated copies of it and install all that stuff. And
I guess that's we saw that with iTunes, right?
Yeah, and also
Spotify.
just like online functionality that you can't always get out of a cracked version of the game.
Yeah.
That you want to do that stuff.
I mean that's the ideal, right? Like create a healthy marketplace that works for everybody and that people can feel good about spending money on.
Right, and I think that's some of the things that are missing from the console space right now.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because they don't have piracy to contend with. Like maybe that's like the secret other part of this. That you don't see digital games go on sale at the rate and the frequency that you see physical copies getting blown out.
Sure. Definitely not as fast or as often or as deep, maybe.
Yeah.
But Sony's been getting better. Like they've been running flash sales pretty often.
Yeah, they have, and Microsoft's been doing stuff as well. But it's
finally got that $8 copy of Mad Max I've been waiting on.
But it's always a flash sale. It's never like, hey, this game that you can find at retail for $11 is now $11 here too.
Right.
Because it's always driven by we need to clear out our shelves because these games aren't moving.
Yeah, if you want console games cheap, discs are definitely still the better option.
Yeah. So I feel like that stuff has to reach some kind of parity, but there isn't a driving factor, a driving force to make that make sense yet.
Yeah.
Other than common sense of like, of course, you should just charge the same amount. Like, don't be crazy.
That would be nice.
Like, I bought Skate 3 when it came to backwards compatibility for like $6, and then just like DLC is even weirder.
Yeah,
where like I spent twice that on DLC for Skate 3 because DLC almost never goes on sale.
I was reading a forum post about the Mass Effect series in particular.
Right.
I think, God, I wish I had the details. I think EA was maybe pushing some kind of super good bundle for like maybe the PC version of like all, like you can basically get all 3 Mass Effects on PC for like super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you wanted to loop around and get all the DLC for those games, it was like $100 or something because the DLC never goes on sale, and it's
just
it's
weird
insanity.
Well, because they've got you at that point.
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
Well, Mass Effect is an egregious example of like 2 and 3 in particular have DLC that you kind of really want to have if you really want to get all that you can out of those games.
Yeah, that stuff's weird.
Yeah. All right, that's all I've got for the news this week. See if anything else happens in the 2.5 weeks we got left in the year. Let's read some emails.
All right.
What do you say? Bombcast
I say yes.
at giantbomb.com.
If Drew's in, I'm in.
Okay. All right. Dan?
I'm in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Reluctantly?
No.
Okay.
I like the emails.
You always show up for some emails.
I played the song, so I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That was implied.
Yeah.
Grant from Minneapolis writes in
Yeah.
with a would you rather.
Okay.
Eat at Matt's bar.
Wrong podcast.
For a Juicy Lucy or the 508?
I thought we established that already.
Matt's bar.
Do you get to pick the cheese?
No.
No?
Well, some of them are more fancy with it, but Matt's bar is just like, hey, this is the Juicy Lucy. Like, don't fuck with it.
Okay.
I like that at Matt's bar. It's JUCY due to a spelling error, and they just kept it.
Yes, so that is
like
the
when they
official
printed
spelling.
up. Yeah.
No I.
JUCY.
All right. That's good branding.
What's on it?
It's just it's a cheeseburger, but the cheese is inside the meat.
It's like
Is there cheese on the burger as well?
No, you can order standard cheeseburgers there. I've been there with people who've done that, and that's insane.
Yeah.
It's like a molten core of cheese. It's
Yeah.
so delicious.
Yeah, you have to wait a while. You have to kind of like nibble until you get to the inner
I
pocket.
make a little
just
porthole
so, it kind of,
so the steam comes out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotta be
you
careful.
can take the fries. They're skinny little fries, and you can
And
put it
dip
into
them
the
in there?
hole, and you get the burger cheese on your fry. It's good.
It's kind of like the stuffed crust of hamburgers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, that would be if the bun was filled with cheese.
They should do that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just invented the California Juicy Lucy.
You're drunk on your own power.
And fuck anybody who tries to step to us. We just invented that shit.
Sounds
Back
great.
off. I'm a chef.
All right, here is the would you rather that Grant proposes. Would you rather be able to turn your arm into a sword at will from the elbow down with no possibility of ever activating it accidentally,
Okay.
or be able to turn off friction underneath 1 foot at will?
What?
Yeah.
Why would I want to turn off friction?
That's kind of half
I can
the reason
buy
I wanted
a
to
Healy.
Yeah, half the reason I wanted to
anytime. I want a
propose
sword.
this was to get your opinions on how that would actually come in handy, because I'm not sure.
Well,
the arm thing comes in handy if you're in danger.
No, yeah, I mean the foot thing in particular.
Yeah, but the foot thing,
I think the
what
sword,
benefit do you have at all?
The sword thing has a zillion applications.
Well, yeah. From like cooking to self-defense.
It's like, I'll slice this tomato and just shing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's just the T1000
So you're basically-
thing.
yeah, you're just
Stabbing
going-
someone who's drinking a carton of milk.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yes, you're just
Wolfie's
going.
fine.
You're just going Terminator 2 whenever you feel like it.
I don't. I mean, look, you just keep a knife with you. It's fine.
Wait, so are you on the frictionless foot?
I think so.
Yeah.
Why do you want that?
You're just being contrary.
Think about because a frictionless foot. If it's just one foot, then you're just picking up your other foot and moving forever, effortlessly.
So you can just kind of like slide
skating-
everywhere.
skating your
Okay,
foot.
it's like wearing socks on like a nice wood floor.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah,
except for the part where I'm really bad at sliding with socks on carpet or like sliding on wet grass to the point where I would probably end up dead within 5 minutes.
Especially if
broke
it's
my own
just
neck.
one
That would be
foot.
a fun 5 minutes, though.
Yeah.
Is it always frictionless, or is that on
So
and
it
off
says
as well?
at will.
At will.
So you could just like turn it off
But
whenever.
like
Get a goddamn roller
then you're
skate.
standing on one foot. Why not both feet?
Yeah.
Can you get
Yeah, I
through?
don't. Maybe that's the restriction. Is like you got to be able to hold your other foot up in the air all the time. Maybe you want that foot as a brake.
Yeah,
Just
that's-
put it
that's
down
true.
and stop.
Yeah.
That's true.
Can you get through airport metal detectors with the arm thing if it's not in metal form?
Yeah,
or do you have to explain this every time?
No, I
to
think
TSA.
I think you just have an arm unless you want it to be a sword.
Okay, but I mean, it's not like there's not like metal in there,
No,
like
no.
Wolverine.
It's a
and
flesh
whatever.
sword.
Oh, okay.
It says turn your arm into a sword.
Okay. Yeah, I want that.
I don't know. Like I don't have that many opportunities to where I would need a blade.
But what if you had a blade?
But I have
Create
plenty of
your own
opportunities in
I
which
was
I
gonna say,
want a
then
blade.
it's that's dangerous. That's that thing of just like, well, now I've got this tool and I'm going to use it every chance I get, even though I
Yeah.
don't need it. Then it's then I'm eating food off the end of the sword like some kind of asshole.
Sure.
And then,
You could
Asshole
poke
or
things
cool
that are like,
guy?
let's say you need to turn the light switch on from your bed or off, and you can't reach it with your arm, and you can just kind of tap it down with your sword.
so you're saying that the sword is
I don't
longer?
think the
I would
sword
think
is
this-
longer.
than this? I
No,
don't
Oh
know.
wait, the sword is just this.
I think you only get that's
Okay.
what he. Yeah.
I was picturing in Terminator. There's an extension.
I
for
don't
sure.
think you get to.
There would be an extension for sure.
Can you
like,
do the finger
absolutely.
things too, like in
I
Terminator?
don't think it's like a bastard sword or something. It's just like a.
Well, no,
Okay.
not like a bastard
More
sword,
like a
but
short
you know,
sword.
if the flesh on your arm is like being condensed into like a sword point, like it's gonna go down a little bit.
Yeah,
it's gonna
maybe.
get it's gonna
Squeeze it out.
elongate
I don't know.
I'd go with that for the self-defense angle.
with a
Yeah.
razor sharp forearm. Yeah, you're gonna need to. Yeah.
Skating around on your foot
It'll be pretty.
does sound pretty fun, but I think I would have to go with the sword.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen Heelys. Those are assholes.
Just buy a
People
sword
that
cane.
use those.
Or an umbrella.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Rich writes in from North Wales. Just wondering if Dan is a big fan of blue cheese.
I don't
The
hate
hard-hitting
it.
questions.
I don't
Well, there's
hate
more.
Oh.
Okay.
it. But okay.
I'll read the rest.
Okay.
If he is, does he know how it's made?
Nah.
Is he aware that they inject the mold directly into the cheese to create the blue veins? Does this now put blue cheese in the same category that figs occupy?
Didn't hear any of that, but I already wasn't a huge fan, so.
Oh, okay. You're not totally against it.
I'll eat it if it's like crumbles on a salad or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I am pretty strongly against it when it comes to wings when you're dipping stuff because just get ranch because like a honey barbecue wing dipped in ranch is incredible. Blue cheese is fine, but it's kind of a grosser ranch.
Ah, man.
I would put them both on par as things I don't want. Blue cheese, ranch. I would sooner eat blue cheese than ranch, though.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
totally. Yeah, I'm with you.
No.
Oh, whoa.
Heavens no.
Yeah.
Ranch is disgusting.
Ranch is
Blue cheese
It's
is
awful.
ranch is great.
I'd totally take blue cheese over ranch any day.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
No, you really?
I love ranch.
I mean, ranch
Thank
is
you,
all
Drew.
right. I don't have anything against it. But if I had to pick,
Wow.
it's got mold in it.
I mean, doesn't all cheese?
I mean,
exist?
yes.
Everything
Yes.
is mold.
Yeah,
I guess with the
We
blue
are all
cheese,
mold.
I guess with blue cheese, they like inject mold into it in some way, though.
sure.
That's what the
You know,
blue is.
I guess when it comes down to it, I don't really care how things are made because
Yeah.
like everyone always makes the argument like, if you knew what was in that hot dog or how they made it, it's like I don't care if it's a,
Okay.
a butthole or lips or whatever
All right.
makes a hot dog. If it tastes good and it doesn't look like a butthole,
All right.
then sure.
They
So-
take the butthole and cook it enough to de-butt it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
At the end of the day. like-
yeah. Once you reach like 120 degrees, the butthole gets just like steamed out of that
Yeah,
thing.
whatever.
You can mold it, and yeah, it becomes very pliable.
Yeah.
I have
I'm
to-
fine with that.
We'll see buttholes all day long.
Every week on this podcast, I have to think about things people say and what might make for a good title. Now that we titled the podcast,
Yes.
for a second I thought steamed buttholes might be.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Here's the exception.
It's a little too obvious.
Here's the exception is the fig thing. I don't want bugs in my food.
Okay.
Worse than buttholes.
I mean, a hot dog doesn't look like a butthole at all.
I mean,
but when I hear that like wasps are dying inside Fig Newtons, it makes me not want to eat.
To be
Fig
fair,
Newtons.
if you're going to eat,
They don't look like bugs at that point either.
They process the shit out of those things. It's not like a literal bug is sitting in there waiting for you to bite into it. It's all processed, and just like everything, it's all processed all to hell.
Also, my understanding was that the wasp like breaks down in the fig, like it is gone by the time the fig
at
grows.
some point,
Yeah, but it was
at
still
some point,
there.
what about like all the FDA regulations about how much rat feces they would allow into all foods that are being produced in factories?
As long as I don't see it. If I don't see something that looks like a rat
exactly,
turd,
you don't see bugs in the figs.
I guess that's a
Everything
valid
is
argument.
electrons.
It's a valid argument.
Don't
It's
worry
true.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, if you're eating a bug, doesn't it have?
It's
If
a
you're
tiny bug butthole.
If
Like
you're
it's
eating,
like
if you're eating
microscopic.
an entire bug, there is a bug butthole in
How
there.
big can a bug's butthole be?
If we're really trying to determine which one is worse,
I think it depends on the size of the bug.
if you eat a bug, you're getting both.
Yeah, I guess you're getting the whole kit and caboodle there.
Yep.
Mm.
It's worth pointing out.
That's a good point.
Blue cheese is pretty good.
Kitten butthole.
Craig from Ontario, Canada. Do you guys think it's possible for The Last of Us Part 2 to be a PS5 launch game? The game probably won't come out until 2019 or 2020. At that point, the PS4 will be 6 and 7 years old. Also, having The Last of Us Part 2 be a launch game could drive sales of a new Sony console.
I can't see that. I mean, look how long PS3 was around.
Yeah.
Like, they almost made good on that, 10-year life cycle claim.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, they were
Yeah.
putting out games for 10 years.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, but I mean,
just,
it was a bit
just-
past its prime.
Exactly. Yeah.
PS3 and 360, yeah, both had games coming out for ages.
No, I think that it's way too early in the shape this console cycle has taken is so crazy and non-standard that the idea that we're definitely going to see a PlayStation 5, period, end of sentence, is like
Much less
up in the air.
Much
So,
less in 3 years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if they've been working on that game for a while also.
Right.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I think it was all hands on deck on Uncharted until they shipped that, or most. I'm sure some pre-production was happening or something,
yeah.
but yeah, that would be crazy because that would mean Naughty Dog put out one major game on the PS4 and then moved on to the PS5, right? Like that seems unlikely.
Yeah, I think it's the idea of a PlayStation 5 seems weird and somewhat preposterous right now.
Oh, totally. I'm with you on that, but
yeah.
also just the idea that studio in particular would only ship one PS4 game and then move on.
Think about it in terms of like
Also nuts.
a year from now, Microsoft's going to put out a new version of its console
Right.
that, by all accounts, will be substantially more powerful.
Yeah.
And will be that kind of most of the way there to a next generation. If you made a next generation this soon after the Xbox One came out,
Right.
like the cycle has been disrupted to a point where that's not reasonable.
Yep. I'm with you. Also, The Last of Us was a very late game or late cycle PS3 game.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see this follow-up also being kind of a late thing. Tim writes in from Nashua, New Hampshire. I just recently found out that one of my local arcades is closing down, the Pinball Wizard in Pelham, New Hampshire.
Been there, yeah. It's nice.
I guess due to leasing restrictions. I was just curious of your thoughts about this, considering you guys have mentioned going there before, and it seems like more and more of these gyms are dying. In New Hampshire, we are lucky to have quite a few arcades, but this particular one was, in my opinion, the most unique.
Is that the one we went to with Rich?
Yeah.
It's closed?
Mm-hmm. It's
Or
closing.
yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool place.
It was a nice place.
Was it mostly pinball, or is that just an
It was a
old-
lot of pinball, but they had a bunch of arcade stuff as well.
They had tons of aisles of just arcade
Yeah.
stuff. Like, we played through all of Total Carnage, right?
No, I don't think we had enough money to do that.
I thought we did.
Maybe we did.
We had tons of coins left over. I think
Yeah.
we did play all of Total Carnage
Yeah,
between
we
the three of us.
That gets well. Total Carnage is not a 3-player game.
Yeah, we were trading off.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was like it'd be you and me, and then I'd die, and then Rich
yeah,
would come
you're right.
in.
You're right. We did play a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice place. And yeah, I think arcades. It's a weird concept. Like there aren't that many new games coming out anymore. Like there's some new pinball machines hitting here and there, and some new amusement things coming out.
Yeah.
New Daytona.
Yeah, that new Daytona's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
But you're really only going to see that at like a Dave and Buster's kind of someplace that can afford it.
Right.
Really.
Also,
yeah. That's
Dave
that's
Buster sells
expensive.
booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if you're going to run a classic arcade at this point, you sort of need like a side business, right?
Yeah, and that's what a lot of places, they're going to be like arcades or they're going to be
Yeah.
like a restaurant slash, or whatever. But they're evolving, I guess, to meet the needs.
I always forget about that one in the city.
Free Gold Watch.
No, the it's a barcade.
Here? The barcade, it's up Castro
It's not
exit.
called barcade. It's called.
There's one called barcade. It's right off Market Street.
No, it's not called. It's
There is one.
Brewcade. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's okay.
On Market Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I never heard of that.
I've never been to anything like that.
I like
I haven't
those
either.
Yeah.
kinds of places. Yeah,
I've seen people throw around the term barcade for years, but
Yeah.
I never really got into
It seems great in theory. I think this one's just kind of cramped, and the games aren't always working correctly.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
seem like
hot
places
and it smells
built for
weird.
people who don't play video games on the reg, as if to be like,
Mm.
hey, here's this novelty of like, hey, we've got some
Yeah.
classic arcade
if they've got
machines
if
that
they're
sort of
focused
work.
on like just classical stuff.
A lot of them
Right.
are
There's-
nostalgia.
Yeah.
There's
Some
several
of those can
places
be-
that like you can rent consoles. You've got a couch there, and people spend
Yeah.
most of their day, sitting at like a PC there or whatever. So
They can be done well, though. There's a place called
Yeah.
Up Down in Kansas City, and they just opened one in Minneapolis. And so all their TVs are always like an old movie. Like they've got a billion screens, and it'll be showing an old movie like Jurassic Park. It's very 90s focused. It'll be showing a bunch of old American Gladiators episodes and a bunch of 1990s professional wrestling. Those are the three things they constantly keep on all the screens. And they have a really good selection of pinball and arcade machines and everything, and some newer stuff. Like, what's that crazy newer thing that's like 10-player, something Queen? Or
they have a Killer Queen.
it's got
machine
Killer
there?
Queen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the 4-player Pac-Man versus and everything, but a bunch of great classic stuff. So yeah, that Up Down place is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need the American Gladiators on the TV stuff. Like I like the idea of like dive bar with pinball. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
that's fine. It doesn't need to be like their thing. Like we're a barcade. It's just like no, we're a bar. There are some machines here.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's where machines live.
It totally is a gimmick, but I can't deny that like I like playing NBA Jam and then looking up and seeing an old episode of Nitro playing. It's like, okay, while drinking a beer. It's like, okay, this is all. It's
Yeah.
a gimmick, but
That all
it works
that
for
all,
me.
That all
you know?
seems okay. Yeah. I guess I just don't need it.
Or beating Tyson, getting some free champagne.
Yeah.
It's always good.
That place sucks now though.
It's a good deal if you can get it. Jake writes in from St. Clair Shores. He doesn't say where that is.
All right.
Just have to use our
It's
imaginations.
a mystery.
He-
Everyone there has sword hands.
yes. Oh man, sounds like an exciting
St. Clair
existence.
swords.
If everyone has a sword hand, no one has a sword hand.
It's true.
You know?
It's true. He wants to know what is the best brand of frozen pizza, what style,
Totino's.
what toppings, and if possible, the best form of cooking, such as oven, toaster, etc.
Combination Totino's Party Pizza. I have 4 in my freezer right now. I just had one, although they're square now, which is weird. But I think you technically can do microwave. They've got the instructions for that.
yeah,
Don't do
I
that.
do that. They get a little.
Is that where you
mushy.
gotta put a crisping stand on top of the box?
That's more
Is
of
it
the
one
hot.
of those?
That's a hot pocket thing where you got the crisping
No, but
sleeve there.
I saw one that was like, hey, like
where it folds
the,
up?
the box folds around and you put it on here.
Those
just
were
turn the
the
box
old
like
Tony's
upside down,
Pizza
yeah.
for ones. I used to make those a lot. The Tony's Pizza for
Oh, yeah,
one, you
that's
would flip
right.
it over and have the silver thing and you cook it on
Yeah.
top of that.
Tino's actually do like full size pizzas, or are they all?
I mean, they're
like,
party
really
pizzas.
personal?
They're for parties.
Any pizza's for one if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
True.
Totino's is fucking garbage. That stuff's the
Yeah.
worst.
Totino's are
can't.
my favorite frozen
I
pizzas.
can't. I guess. Yeah. If you have to have a favorite frozen pizza, sure. But
Yeah.
I'm,
Like I like DiGiorno's and
I've
stuff like that.
I've
but,
been a DiGiorno's man for
Oh, yeah.
years.
but they're just kind of puffy and doughy
Yeah.
and stuff. And like I like the crispness of Totino's. Like they're like a cracker with pizza toppings in
Yeah.
combination with the tiny little pepperoni squares.
last-
Are fantastic.
The last one I had was weirdly the dough was like super thick and
I don't
was,
like
too
that.
chewy. Like,
I want it like
they
a
seem
pizza
to
cracker.
be amping up on that.
I
Which I'm
feel
not
like
a fan
if
of.
I need to like. If I'm hitting bottom that way, where there's going to be some frozen pizza in the house, I'm probably going to get pizza rolls.
Those are great too. And
Oh,
also
sure.
the microwave rule doubly applies to that. They're fine in the microwave in a pinch if you're in a hurry.
Right.
But make your pizza rolls in the oven for God's sake. If
Okay.
you have any self-respect.
we're
Dan,
all,
do you have like a toaster, like a crisper or anything like that?
no, I'll probably
I
get
told
one
you about
once I'm
this a
more
long time
settled.
ago. I don't know if you ever tried it, but I warm up like a Totino's pizza in the microwave.
Yeah, yeah.
Get it soft, then you fold it up, and then you put it in the crisper, and it's like the biggest fucking hot pocket
Right.
or pizza roll that you've ever had. It's
Well,
delicious.
my favorite move with Totino's, and I've probably said this before, is the breakfast. Well, I did it for breakfast in college, but you can do it for dinner too. Is you take 2 Totino's party pizzas, you put them on
Oh,
top of
yeah.
each other,
Yeah.
you put them in the oven, and then it's like just a big old sandwich. That was my
Yes, I think
breakfast like
you've-
every day in
you've-
college.
yes, you've-
You could totally do that for dinner though.
definitely been over this before.
It's great. It's still great.
I'm still waiting for the like coaster-sized Pizza Hut that you stick in your Back to the Future microwave,
Yeah.
and it
Yep.
comes out.
Expands
and it's a
to-
giant pizza in 2
Man.
seconds.
Yeah.
They
We'll
have
get there.
those tiny little circular. Are they Cecile's or it starts with the C? Celeste pizzas, and those are actually okay in the microwave, but they're like yay big, like coaster big, maybe
I feel
a
like
little
if I was
bigger.
going to do something like that, I would just be taking English muffins and putting pizza toppings on them and putting them in
That's
the oven.
work though. Let Celeste do the
not
work
really.
for you.
I still have to open the package. I still have to bend down to the freezer. Like it's there's still stuff.
Yeah. Are there rules against adults getting Book It pizzas?
Getting what?
Because I think they
Yeah,
still
I
do
don't know
I don't
Book
know
It.
if they
Wait, you guys
still
don't know
do that.
Book It here?
I'm familiar.
Jason, okay.
I'm very familiar.
Really?
What is that?
Book It was a fantastic program by the Pizza Hut Corporation in the 90s, which I think they still do. And schools, like my school, would suggest that we go to Pizza Hut and you get like a card. And basically you had to prove that you read like 5 books. And like your teacher would stamp like, oh yeah, you ordered from the Scholastic catalog or whatever. And I read this thing and then I read, this stupid book. And once you have 5 of them done, you go in and you get a special personal pizza for free. And like 90% of the books that I read growing up were to get pizzas.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. It got me to read.
Sure.
I got to read and I got pizzas.
Yeah.
It sounds like a win-win for everyone.
Sure.
There's-
When the Scholastic catalog came through, I got books because I wanted to read them, and they would have stuff like, "Here's some Donkey Kong puzzles in a book."
Yeah.
And I think I still have that.
When that
somewhere.
Scholastic Fair came around, man, that was the best fucking time.
Yeah.
Book
man.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Let's get
was-
some fucking books.
Goosebumps.
All this
Yes.
Encyclopedia Brown, motherfucker.
Scary stories tell in the dark.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Special shout out to DiGiorno's stuffed crust pizza.
Yeah.
I've recently
Fine.
had
I've
it.
never seen that in the store.
They're
before.
good.
I
It's
think
good.
I think it's kind of a new thing. I don't know, but yeah, pretty good.
Jake also had a follow-up question asking, what are the best things to add to a frozen pizza before cooking? I, for one, almost always throw on a dash of chili powder and oregano. I'm
Ooh.
curious if you guys use anything else.
Buy one of these standard size pouches of shredded cheese and put the entire thing on a party pizza. If you want to go crazy,
Man.
put the whole thing on there and have that be the center of your Totino's party pizza breakfast sandwich.
It sounds like the thing
Sounds
you
pretty
put
good.
on a pizza is in fact another pizza.
Or just tons of cheese.
You could just eat 2 pizzas.
Just fucking order a pizza. Make them deliver it. Like you talk
I mean,
about,
that's
like,
good, too.
oh, I don't want to do the work. It's like,
Totino's-
all right.
so much more expensive, though,
Totino's
here.
party pizzas
Like,
are
holy shit.
$1.
Yeah.
I can't
those-
argue with that.
Those DiGiorno's that we get are like $5.
Yeah, that's
Bagel
too much. That-
bites.
that's for rich
Really?
people.
Like fucking
Totino's
wow.
are for the
you're
common man.
lucky to get away with like $30 ordering pizza here.
Dan, I'm with you on that.
Oh,
Totino.
here
Thank
in
you.
this
Thank
city,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
fucking- it's
Like,
ridiculous.
I can order pizza and get out for about $20.
Yeah,
to
you
delivered.
you have access in the burbs to,
Sure.
to
Yeah.
standard cheap
some
pizza.
quality Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
I've got this special blend. Well, I have to buy the blend. There was a Portesi. They made these cheese fries, and the seasoning that they put on those cheese fries, it was only available in like central Wisconsin or something like that, but it was like an after bar. We'd fucking throw one of those in, and it was delicious. And I found out that you could buy the seasoning, and I bought like 5 years worth of this shit. I had friends sending them to me, smuggling them on airports because it looks like oregano and kind of looks like pot. So people were a little freaked out by
Okay.
that, but it was totally worth
Just
it.
got like a 55-gallon drum of it now.
I've got like 5 or 6 containers in my pantry, and any pizza that I throw in the oven, we use it in our sauce as well for like spaghetti.
What's it
It's,
called?
Portesi.
Huh.
And I think seriously, like very central Wisconsin, like
have to look
Stevens
that up.
Point, Wisconsin
Yeah.
is the only place you can get it.
Sounds good.
Taco Bell fire sauce. That's good
good.
on pizzas.
Okay.
Bagel bites.
Put it on a pizza?
On the pizza.
All right.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I usually just go straight Supreme.
I never do Supreme.
No?
It's too much.
easy.
It's too much.
Oh, no way.
It's diluting. Like it distracts from what's good about pizza, which is meat and cheese and bread.
Yeah.
I never want a pepper on there. I never want an onion on there. No mushrooms, no olives,
I like-
ever.
I like all that shit.
Just sausage, bacon, barbecue sauce
I'm with
sometimes.
you, Brad.
Barbecue sauce is good. With
Yeah,
chicken,
yeah.
Um,
Dip it in ranch.
I do black olives, mushrooms, pepperoni. Those are my 3.
Okay. Those are all
my
good.
3.
Can't do it.
Definitely like some bell pepper. Some onion. Rich from Chicago. Jason, probably going to have to lean on you a little bit for this.
What you got?
For the second part of this, at least. If Disney versus Capcom were to actually become a thing, who would you be most interested to see in the lineup?
Kamala,
Who's that?
Ms. Marvel
Okay. Well,
She's-
the Marvel stuff is...
is a given.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to say maybe Marvel doesn't count for this question.
What? But they're Disney now.
Marvel, I know, but Marvel has had plenty of games already.
Shit.
Does Tron?
Like, I think... Yeah, see, there you go.
Oh, fuck.
Like Clue in there or something.
That's
yeah,
a
so
really-
let's
that's a really
Wars.
good
Let's
one.
say maybe. I feel like we're leaning more kind of classic Disney and maybe Pixar here.
The
Sora!
genie from Aladdin.
Oh, yeah, Genie was the first one I thought of.
Mm-hmm. He can turn into things. He can like, turn into cars and stuff.
that's your character with like, his hand becomes a giant hammer.
Yeah.
The car from Cars.
Okay. The Larry the Cable Guy one?
Mater.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get Mater in there.
Yeah, but only if it plays exactly like the car from Fighters Megamix.
Okay, yes. Yes.
I don't want to mix these up.
Not
like
feeling
you already mixed up fucking Sora and stuff, like the Kingdom Hearts. I don't want
No, you can't.
Kingdom
No,
Hearts
that
in my
no. Nope.
Yes.
in my fighting game.
No
Shit.
Kingdom Hearts
No,
in
get
this
out of
game.
here.
I'm with you on that.
I would rather have WB and get Looney Tunes characters in there because Looney Tunes is so much better than Disney.
What if they just made a Looney Tunes fighting game?
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Wile E. Coyote.
That could be really good.
Oh, did that happen?
I don't.
Like PlayStation 1 era?
We'll have to get our science jackets on and do some research and figure some stuff out here.
Foghorn Leghorn?
Start evaluating some fighting games.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I've got the itch. Something fierce for science.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and read this because I already mentioned it. I don't know how much you guys will care, but he also says, who do you think would win in the following matchups?
Finally. Okay, let's get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's some proposals for this game. Has anybody seen Big Hero 6?
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
Hero / Baymax.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Oh yeah.
Versus Zero from Mega Man.
How does that work? Yeah, I guess so. Like
Who would win?
Oh.
Isn't Baymax huge?
Yeah, Baymax is he'd be a grappler.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a hugger, but he can self heal. He can inflate. I think Baymax.
Give
for
him
sure.
the edge over Zero.
Yeah, why
Baymax
not?
something you put on your lips?
All those big characters are always just weird gimmicky things. Like, I don't know that they'd make it an honest grappler, so I'm going to say Zero. Because I think Baymax would be a bad character in those games.
Hagar.
They would fuck up
Hagar.
the abilities.
Hagar.
I mean,
Hagar's a big.
but
character.
Hagar
He's
is
kind of a
not
grappler.
Baymax big.
He can lay some fucking pipe.
When I think, you talk about Hagar laying pipe. There's
Exactly.
plenty of video of that. But when I think about Baymax, I think about like Earthquake from Samurai Showdown, like that kind of screen filling size, not like Zangief.
No,
Hagar
he's
size.
not that huge. He's not. He's
But
probably,
if he can inflate, then
yeah,
does he get
like
up
self-inflate,
that? Okay.
like up to normal size,
Oh, okay.
like nothing bigger than normal.
All
and he's
right.
got that cool power armor and stuff.
Okay,
Like,
then all right.
I think
That's-
Baymax has the edge.
Maybe that's a better fight.
totally
then.
Okay.
He can fly.
Boba Fett versus Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh, so he
Dante.
does include Star Wars.
Yeah, this guy does. Yeah.
Dante.
I mean, if it's Dante from MVC3, then fucking Dante.
Yeah.
Can he use
What the
Devil
fuck
Trigger?
does Boba Fett do?
It's like
Has
He
a
has a jetpack
jetpack
and
and
a laser
flamethrower.
gun?
So what? He can fucking just fly around.
He can-
He's got
he
that
can pop up, hover,
dumb
and-
lasso
and-
thing.
and
Fuck
shoot
that
missiles
guy.
down. Wasn't
Fuck
Boba
that
Fett
guy.
in?
Terrakazi.
If you play Masters of Terrascasi, you can see Boba Fett does some really bad shit poorly. So
Yeah. A good thermal
Dante.
Detonator. Yeah. Fuck no.
Beast from Beauty and the Beast versus Mike Hagar.
Hagar.
Fucking Hagar.
Think so?
Yeah.
Hagar doesn't have claws though.
Does
Doesn't need
Beast
him.
ever freak out and
Hagar's
beat
got a
anyone up in that
fucking
movie?
pipe.
It's true. It's true.
What's
Well, does he get
Beast
to
gonna
bring
do,
the pipe?
dance? Fucking turn into a human? I don't give a shit.
All right, that's fair.
Fuck.
Sounds pretty definitive.
Stupid.
The Rocketeer versus Will Gray from Dark Void.
Rocketeer.
I mean, that's just like an
Like
alternate
this-
costume.
yeah.
They both got jetpacks. I don't know.
Yeah.
that's kind of a mirror match.
That might be a toss up. Rocketeer's got that crazy looking helmet though.
Yeah.
Dark Void helmets,
Oh, does he have a helmet too?
pretty much.
Yeah.
They pretty much just made a Rocketeer game without the license.
Yeah.
That's fair. Simba versus Amaterasu.
Isn't Amaterasu a
Like
god?
Actual
Like
god.
a
yeah.
wolf god. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's not a
It
fight.
was a lion.
What's Simba gonna do?
That's
Cry
a
about his
mauling.
fucking dad?
Yeah, you're right.
Wah.
Dead.
Fucking Simba.
All right. There you have it. Rob from Pennsylvania. Does Nintendo have a Major Nelson type figure that you could ask about Super Mario Maker for 3DS? There have to be reasons for not allowing us to upload or search for levels. Mario Maker for 3DS went from a must-buy title to a dud. Sometimes I wonder if Nintendo even likes money.
I mean, they have public-facing people like Bill Trennan and Reggie, but like not the types that are going to answer questions publicly. Like,
They don't, and also if Microsoft had published a game in a similar situation and you tried to pin down a Major Nelson-like figure about it, you still wouldn't get the answers.
right,
you were looking
right,
for.
yeah,
Like,
that
it's
just
not-
wouldn't
They're
happen.
never going to give you an honest answer when you're like, yo, why does this game suck?
Yeah.
Why is this thing
Well,
like... Why is this thing a pale shadow of what it could have been?
Well, let me tell you about budgets and how the real world works. You're not going to get that type of thing.
Any thoughts though?
No, I just
You think they
Nintendo's social media presence as far as
No.
I'm
I mean
concerned,
on the game itself, like.
Oh, it's bad.
Right, but I mean like why it turned out that way.
A fundamental misunderstanding of why the Wii U version was popular, mixed with, not necessarily having a lot of faith in the 3DS as an internet-ready device, or a lot of stuff like that. Limitations and as so far as, having a constant connection to a server instead of just pinging out to get new levels. I'm not really sure.
Maybe some lack of infrastructure on that end. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a bad scene.
Yeah, it's a shame. A lot of Minnesota in this episode.
Sure.
I like it.
Will from Minnesota writes in and says, I have lived in Minnesota all my life. My girlfriend only recently moved here. She says that despite our terrible weather and terrible non-WNBA sports teams, Minnesotans have the most state pride of anywhere she has ever lived. My question is primarily for Dan and Jason. As people who have lived in several states, including Minnesota, do they agree with her assessment? If not, what state do you think is the proudest of itself? Or whose residents think the highest of it?
If we're talking state, I could see that just from my limited, experience of where I've lived.
Yeah.
City-wise, I think New York City is probably.
Yeah.
I mean, New Yorkers really
I
love
think
New
anyone
York.
in Texas is
especially
proud.
Don't mess with Texas, man.
Yeah, as far as the places I've lived, though, definitely Minnesota.
Yeah,
it's
up
just a
there.
genuine love of the state.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see a lot of stuff, like people with Minnesota tattoos and lots of I Heart Minnesota shirts and stuff like that. It's just a good place to live.
Seems like it would harden you.
With the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets really,
Fucking
really
right.
cold.
Like
but-
how cold are we talking?
Right.
Oh, I mean, I negative 30, negative 40. I did a
Wow.
video once of I took a pot of water, and it was the middle of the night or something,
yeah.
and I opened up my door and I threw the water up in the air, and it turned into like snow, like mist before it hit the ground.
Wow.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
it is painful, like walking
Wow.
from your front door to your car 15 feet away, and like all of your snot freezes in your nose in that time.
Jeez.
Like it becomes painful.
Your spit bounce.
I've never seen that happen.
When
No.
it gets that cold, is there just like a minimum level of clothing that you have to put on when you go out?
Yeah, like I would have t-shirts.
Or you're just insane.
I would do t-shirt and then like a hoodie, and then I have this big Carhartt jacket I would put over it.
And like gloves and hat.
Yeah, you should. On occasion, I'd pull out a scarf just to cover the face and all that.
Yeah.
Because it will hurt
Okay.
your skin if the air touches it.
There's only so much that like a light jacket can do though at that point.
Oh, like a hoodie or
like,
something.
yeah, you can't just go hoodie and kind
No.
of rough it out.
No, maybe
No.
early
For
October
a little
you can
bit.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a little bit.
And
sure.
I miss extreme cold. That sounds kind of awesome.
It is kind of fun some of
no.
those nights where you get home from work and it's just like, well, I know we're not going outside this weekend, so let's just watch movies and play games and stuff.
Sounds all right.
I heard that it gets so cold, I think in the South Pole, that like when there's no wind, you can just walk around with shorts because all the moisture in the air has frozen.
Oh, wow.
And dropped to the ground,
Huh.
so it doesn't feel that cold.
Oh, interesting.
Is that like the equivalent of dry heat, but on the other end of the spectrum?
Yeah, I guess.
Huh.
Sounds like it. Yeah. That's crazy.
But yeah, I'd say Minnesota. Like, there's really no Kansas pride. Certainly no
Really?
Missouri pride.
Really?
Good Lord, no. Tied around colleges, yes.
Yeah.
There's tons of insane stuff about college basketball and that.
Not a lot of state pride though.
I don't really know anyone that talks about how much they like living in Kansas. It's fine, I guess.
You talk about it an awful lot.
I spent 25 years there.
All right. Okay.
Also,
going back there this weekend.
also, Will says, P.S. Wisconsin is lame.
Their cheese situation is pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Wisconsin a lot. I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pride there, especially in the Green Bay area, for sure. Depends on the area. Like I lived up in Superior, very northern tip of Wisconsin. That place fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Central Wisconsin,
They get kind of
pretty
uppity
good
too.
Yeah, they do. And then like down in Madison, that's a cool college town. Over in Milwaukee, it's very close to Chicago as well. It's a big like urban area. That place is neat. Wisconsin's cool.
All right.
Milwaukee seems like it'd be okay.
Yeah,
I don't know what I
it
would
is.
base. I don't know what I base that on, but something about Milwaukee
I'm
seems
with you.
all right.
It's good.
I think it might be the beer.
Yeah,
I
when I
think it might be beer ads that make me think that Milwaukee's
Maybe
probably
that's
all right.
it. Maybe just like over decades of like.
Actually, it's pronounced Milwaukee, which is Algonquin for the good land.
Okay.
I don't think Drew's wrong on that.
Yeah. No. I mean, if it's good enough for Alice Cooper, then like
Maybe that's why you like it so much.
That's probably part of it.
It's a good city.
Thomas J. from North Dakota.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Noted.
I've never met a bad person from North Dakota.
Yeah.
South
In
Dakota,
person.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got mad beef. If you got to choose, what would be the last game you play before you die? Mine would be WoW to say goodbye to everyone and see all the sites I poured like 7 years of my life into. Thanks for helping me get through 400 plus nights on third shift. Man, that's rough.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Something that would let you write stuff so you could
Dark Souls.
write some stuff out.
Are you
People to see later.
Leaving your last words in Dark Souls messages has got there's kind of a real good appropriateness to that.
Maybe Mario Maker level.
Okay, yeah,
Like a goodbye letter in Mario
sure,
Maker.
sure.
just say police state, and you'd be like, yeah.
Do you go out playing the game? Like,
Just says,
finish the level
No,
and
just the last thing you play.
dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would play a particularly bad match of Dota because then I wouldn't feel so bad about dying.
Fair enough.
Be like, all right,
Clash Royale.
cool, yeah, I'm done. How's that going?
I'm enjoying it.
Fucking dick.
Wow.
He's been haranguing me nonstop for the last week to reinstall Clash Royale.
It's as long
Like
as you
every-
turn notifications
Like
off.
every day, he
and-
just walks up to me with his phone. He's like, "Look at this chest I just got."
Yeah, it's been fun.
Cruel,
Turn
man.
those emotes right off.
I actually thought about it.
Yeah.
Brad,
What
You're doing to him,
for about
Dan.
10
No,
minutes.
no,
Like
I've been having a
once.
good time,
Like
man.
once for about 10 seconds, I thought about it, and I was
Okay.
like,
Good
"Nope."
time.
Started smacking myself in the face.
Got
and
the
I was like,
elite
"Nope,
barbarians.
can't be worth it.
I'm-
There's no way that it's worth it."
It's better now.
I don't believe it.
You're just making things up now.
This email comes in from Dewey. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Doobie Town.
Now that they're going to print Hitman's first season or year or whatever on a disc, what would you like to see in the next season? Given that an ideal Hitman level is self-contained, has varying levels of difficulty, and colorful characters, I would personally like to see either the opening of a huge fancy Japanese department store or fake Coachella.
Okay.
Imagine sneaking in as one of Daft Punk or an ICP fan. They could even bring back Helmet or Abel De Silva. What would you guys like to see? E3, a wrestling event?
Just do the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
they'd have to get the license, I guess. So.
But that would be too many people. That would be like the Marrakesh problem.
Yeah.
There needs to
Yeah.
be corridors and hallways and stuff.
I fully agree. The best Hitman maps have like big open areas with a lot of people and also like places to slip through.
Okay, not a wrestling event, but a backstage situation at wrestling. So you're not in the crowd. There's like a criminal wrestler or whatever that you have to get
yeah.
to. So you have to disguise as a
dude.
wresler.
I think this was the movie that Dolph Ziggler starred in, right?
I believe where
Kane,
Rusev has a gun.
with the gun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're just
probably-
describing
How many like opportunities could they set up around like fucking with stage rigging and like,
fireworks, and
fireworks
stuff?
at the
Yeah.
entrance and
Oh man,
like
or distracting a wrestler as he's doing like a suplex and he drops the other guy on his head or something.
right. Like they would totally put who was the guy? Was it Owen Hart?
Yeah.
They would totally put one of those in there, wouldn't they?
That might be a little
that's
too.
a bit
you think
much.
that's too
much?
Too real.
Yeah.
Think about how many costumes there would be to change into.
yes.
Also,
Yes.
How about the Citadel
From Mass
from
Effect.
Mass Effect?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, or a space station,
Yeah.
where people are living.
Fuck.
Like
I have seen it argued pretty convincingly that Hitman is kind of like a modern day video game James Bond.
yeah,
So if that's the case, then going to the moon is probably
Right.
like
Like
or
a
space. That's like a
moon
natural.
base or space station.
That is a natural evolution.
Yeah,
They need to send Agent 47 to space.
A prison. Like
Okay.
an Ultramax prison, you have
Yeah.
to get in, kill, and escape.
Oh, that sounds like real tight security, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if that's what Hitman is about. Hitman is about hiding in plain sight and just kind of walking right through
but
the.
then you've got you're in a yard or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
exercise and
Yeah.
there's it's like you're executing.
Yeah, I can see that.
There'd be a lot of opportunities for like set someone up to have other people just shank them in the shower
Yeah.
or or whatever.
A
Sure.
cruise ship.
I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
the tutorial level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But like-
yeah. But
but
one
like a big
actually
one?
like sailing
Yeah,
around.
like
Yeah.
a big shit. Yeah, that's
And maybe it stops and people go out on the beach and stuff.
Okay.
I think a Formula One race would be pretty
Ooh,
cool.
that's not bad.
Mm.
A lot of good accidents you could set up there.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about like a children's birthday party? You could dress up as a clown.
Not
you
bad.
could participate in the bouncy castle.
Drown somebody in
you
the ball pit.
could ride some ponies. if you
Disguise
wanted
yourself
to.
as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like a bald baby.
Helmut Kruger Jr.
That also seems like a natural evolution of Hitman. Just put on some kid's clothes as a full-sized adult, and everybody falls for it.
Yeah.
Something like an exploratorium, like a science fair
Yeah,
type
like
thing, where
some
there's
kind
all
of
these
museum.
experiments
Oh, dude, some
and like
kind of
propulsion
museum.
and
Big
stuff.
old dinosaur bones
Yeah,
everywhere.
some kind of museum would
Yeah.
be fucking perfect.
Aquarium, maybe?
There's so many different like exhibits you could use to kill people.
Hmm.
This is like a pretty good brainstorming
Yeah,
session.
just
for
made a design
season,
doc right
season
there.
2 of Hitman. Let's get IO on the phone. Let's see. Oh, I got another Hitman question. Brian from Texas.
Rodeo.
Oh
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Hop in the clown barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Filled with C4.
Put on some chaps.
Yeah, hide explosives under a saddle.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
You
that's-
got to do something with the clown car.
Ooh, that's
yeah.
rotten.
Yeah.
Brian from Texas writes in and says, when you play Hitman on your own time, do you pay any special attention to the mastery unlocks and play specifically to unlock them? The other day, I played a bunch of Colorado that way in order to get the disposable scrambler, which is a keycard hacking device, which unlocks at level 15. It is very good. I used it to do Hokkaido while dressed as a ninja, which is real dumb. I have definitely, yes. Once we played through all of Hitman and I had done some elusive targets and stuff, I was like, all right, fuck it. I need to get my mastery up. I want those toys. It kind of turns into a different game when you're doing that because, like, I think Vinny talked about this some last week, but it sort of turns into more of a game of just checking off boxes on a list, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
like
you
it
don't-
takes away the freedom aspect and like,
Kinda.
oh, what's going to happen?
Well, it's more about you're playing out a bunch of scripts at that
Yeah,
point.
Right,
I
It's
think
like-
it's like you're going into a more confined version of the experience,
Yeah.
specifically to have more variables for when you decide to open it back up again.
yeah.
So it leads to moments where, like,
Yeah.
now I'm going to use this item while dressed up like a ninja.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like that sort of stuff.
While you're doing it, it can feel a lot like a laundry list of just like, okay, I'm going to do this kill this way, and it's like, what do I need to do? Okay, now I'm going to load this
Yeah.
save game. Now I need to be wearing this other disguise and shoot him in the head.
I
Like,
got to wait above the speaker.
yeah, like you're min-maxing the game at that point is what
Yeah.
you're doing. You're just
I think
like,
there's value in that. Like, that stuff is not unfun, but
Yeah.
it is very different.
yeah, it's fun to the extent that you see a lot of the other deaths they came up with
yeah.
like play out in different ways, but you do feel a little more like you're just going through the motions to get points. But the exploding duck is pretty cool. Let's see.
Or is it an exploding bird?
That's a good question. I don't know. Garth writes in from Charlotte, North Carolina. WWE on ice. What are your thoughts?
No,
No?
I don't need that.
Why not at this point?
Ah.
Can't
No.
take a bump
Why,
on
why
ice
is something better on
true.
ice? Why is that better?
I mean, I think it's a different thing at that point.
because you were.
I don't think they're.
Oh, you're already wearing leotards.
I don't know if they're proposing wrestling on ice.
Just, we're talking about John Cena on ice here, like actual the guys on ice.
You're skating. You're going fast.
Open to interpretation.
That, none of this sounds appealing to me.
No way that works for you.
I just don't need it. I've never needed the on ice version of anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
Ninja
but
Turtles on ice or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, like all the different stuff they would do. It's just like, no.
A lot of people are into that stuff, though.
Ice.
On ice.
Being on
I watched
ice.
John Cena host SNL.
Okay.
That was this weekend.
Was it?
Yeah,
I didn't-
seeing John Cena hug Bryan Cranston on the SNL stage was a
Okay.
weird thing for me.
All right. Wait, what was Cranston doing there?
He did a quick cameo thing. Yeah.
Weird.
I just watched that LBJ movie.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
All the
interesting.
way.
Yeah.
On HBO.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Daniel writes in with a burning question. So there is a great burger place very close to my apartment called the Corner Cafe. Did I say he's from LA?
Okay.
Yeah, he's in LA.
I've been there.
That cafe?
The corner, yeah.
Yeah,
If
okay.
it's downtown, yeah.
I mentioned this place to a coworker, and she told me that she used to eat there all the time until one day she ordered a salad and found a dead cockroach in it.
Cool.
I had a very similar experience.
Nevertheless, I have not ceased eating there. My reasons for continuing to eat there are thus. This incident occurred several years ago. I didn't see the incident take place. Maybe it was just a brown leaf. I don't know. And this place predominantly serves burgers and Mexican food. I would never order a salad from there. If anything, maybe it's her fault for ordering a salad from a burger place. But still, I know I'm rolling the dice every time I eat there. Maybe next time will be the time I find my own cockroach.
Maybe.
Should I keep eating at the corner cafe?
Until you find a cockroach.
Does it have one of those pieces of paper with an A in the window? If so, then just keep eating there.
Or a number.
Because everything in LA has all the food safety sign, those big A's.
Oh, is that by city?
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
numbers here. So
Do they?
everything says like
I thought-
95 here.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I thought for a long time they weren't required to show that here.
They're not, unless
Or they
unless
still
the,
aren't.
the thing
Maybe I
Dan's
think they
talking
still
about.
aren't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
They have the sheet of paper a lot of times, and it says the number.
Yeah, a lot, but I don't think they're required.
But
to
like
show
LA,
Maybe they just show
if he's
good
in
ones.
LA, then all the restaurants in LA have the fucking fat
They have
A in
that.
the window or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Every place you eat ever, it's a roll of the dice. There could
Yes.
always be something in that food you never know.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
It's at some point, like, unless it's a widespread problem
Yeah.
with multiple complaints, and you're like, okay, this place has a very specific problem.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's not. Just keep eating there. It's fine.
There's a good Vietnamese sandwich place near my house, and one time I was waiting on my order, and the guy was in the back, and I just saw a fat cockroach just like crawling right along the counter next to the cash register, and I was just like, yeah. And then I took my sandwich and left.
Whatever.
And I have been back a dozen times since.
Yeah.
You'll live.
There's something authentic about it.
Yep. Cockroaches up on things like you just said, that might give me some pause.
Really?
Like on the counter.
I saw that.
If they're bold. If
it's
they're
not-
bold cockroaches. That's
If he has done that before,
yeah.
He's got the run of the place.
with no recourse.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. I mean, it's not a counter they put food on, or not like like unwrapped food. It's just where the
And everyone knows
money-
cockroaches stay to
Yeah,
the
the non-food area.
Sure. Whatever. I was just like, that just makes this place more real.
Yeah.
Gives it a spice.
It's just more protein.
What's going to happen? Who cares? You going to get sick from cockroaches touching your food? Maybe. Probably not.
Hopefully not.
People eat cockroaches.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brian from Seattle. We saw with the Xbox One S that some games improve without any work on the developer's part. This is versus the patches needed from developers for the PS4 Pro, which in some cases actually made things worse. I'm wondering what you think will happen with Scorpio next year as to automatic improvements to the entire catalog of Xbox One games. It seems that the Xbox SDK and development environment may make this easier versus the PS4. I think that seems likely to me. I mean, we're not developers, but
the potential is there, but at the same time, like the S stuff is like incidental.
yeah,
and,
you're
and
right.
Relatively minor.
You're right. I think most of the benchmarks have been showing like maybe 5 frames a second extra, if that, in
if
most
that,
games, and that's
and-
probably a lot easier to manage than having suddenly a thing that can run games at like
Right.
twice the frame rate or
Yeah,
something.
when you kind of make those greater leaps in resolution and all the other stuff, like there's a lot of stuff that has to be checked and work that has to be done to ensure the level of quality that they're looking for. So, like those automatic bump ups might get weird.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if there are games that are coded in specific ways that run on the Xbox One today that they can't take full advantage of this stuff without some very custom work. To it's like, our physics runs at this frame rate, so if we double the frame rate, like you're about Dark Souls on PC, where they just have shit break. I would not be shocked to see some games get zero improvement on Scorpio because they can't without doing a bunch of QA work or new work that they're just not willing to do anymore.
Unless
the games are old.
Unless Microsoft set out from the get-go knowing that this would happen and like very strictly.
Yeah. And I feel like if that was the case, we would know about that already.
Yeah, I would
'cause
actually.
they would be out there talking about it.
Yeah, if any developers want to write in anonymously and tell us if that's part of the TCR or whatever for Xbox games, I would actually be super curious to know. You have to assume developers are probably going to start getting briefed on the specifics of the Scorpio sooner than later, right? If that thing is coming out a year from now, you would assume.
One would hope. Yeah.
You would assume that like the specs are getting nailed down and game
I
developers.
didn't realize it was so far away.
Yeah, they said holiday.
Yeah, it's like that's like next. It's a year from now, basically.
Yeah, in like Q4
Or less
next year.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
I have to assume at some point that's when they start talking about Crackdown again.
Oh yeah,
in the context of, hey, here's this thing, this new device, and we've decided to not render physics in the cloud anymore. Because what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Now we've just got a console powerful enough to do it there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they also said that just like the PS4, like everything has to run on the old consoles as well. So,
But also
Crackdown will have to work on an Xbox One.
You're right, but at the same time, didn't they kind of say that VR was coming to Scorpio? Like
Yeah.
they've already kind of paved the way for there to be things you can do with that device that won't happen on an original Xbox.
Yeah, but
One.
they give themselves an out by saying you need a headset for this.
I
It's
guess
not
yeah.
quite the same. We'll see.
Yeah, you're right.
Paul writes in, a number of Australian emails here. Paul writes in from Melbourne, Australia. I used to think that John Matrix was the coolest movie action hero name, but I was recently reminded that Arnie's protagonist in End of Days goes by the name Jericho Kane.
Yeah.
What is the coolest movie action hero name?
It's just two wrestlers.
Yeah.
John Matrix.
I'll still take John Matrix over
Yeah.
that.
Jericho Kane, like Last Action Hero is a weird parody. So like
No, that's End of Days.
End of Days.
He's Jack Slater
Yes,
in
that's right.
Last
Okay.
Action Hero.
Jericho
sorry.
Kane is End of Days.
Yeah.
Too much. Too on the nose for
Yep.
what End of Days
For
is.
a Satan movie.
That's actually a terrible name.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
John Matrix.
I hate to ask this. What is John Matrix? Is that
Commando.
Commando.
okay?
Yeah.
Right.
There's some good ones in Demolition Man.
Phoenix.
Simon Phoenix.
Simon Phoenix.
Simon Phoenix is pretty good.
And what's Stallone's character's name?
God. I mean, I just saw that for the first time like a year and a
Sylvester
half ago.
Stallone.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, Rocky has good names
As
too.
himself.
Thunderlips, Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago,
Yeah.
Mason the Lion Dixon.
Yeah.
I feel like I should totally be able to remember his character's name from Demolition Man, but that information is just not there.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
John Spartan.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Be well, John Spartan. John
Alright.
Spartan's pretty
Also
good.
Halo.
Yeah. Also Halo.
Yeah. There's also that. All right. This committee has ruled. John Matrix retains the title. Couple of follow-ups.
It's just such not a last name. Matrix.
Yeah, what
that
kind
is
of-
not
Yeah.
The hell kind of family
Where's that
name?
come from?
It's
Yeah.
like a more like, is that a code name or something?
French.
No, that's his name.
Maitri.
Metri.
There you go.
Matrix.
More Australian emails, both about peeing in public.
Cool.
Yeah.
Uh
I
huh.
guess they're way into it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Scott, this one is also from Melbourne. A good friend of mine, who is in fact a Bombcast listener, told me that they had a medical emergency and urgently needed to pee while in very heavy traffic, in your fine city, no less. This person, during this emergency while in traffic, decided it was too difficult to get to a location to pee, so opted to sit on their sweater and let loose.
Sit on the.
Oh.
By the time they got home and had showered, it had so... Wait.
Was this a lady?
Why would they shower before they cleaned up their mess? Anyway, I'll finish. By the time they got home and showered, it had soaked through the sweater into the seat.
Yeah.
My question, is this car a write-off?
No.
Wait, sit on their sweater. Was this a woman?
Also, I will read the last
I mean,
line.
even a guy just sitting down in a car, the
Just,
the
but you
gender
would
difference
absorb-
is not going to
yeah.
tuck your business, but like sitting on a sweater, like if
It would
it's a guy,
absorb.
it's
That's the
pointing
point.
out.
It would
But
absorb.
it's pointing
Go-
out.
No, you can
not
point it.
not if your pants are on.
Yeah, like he's just letting loose pants
Oh,
up.
He didn't say
pants are
anything
on,
about
pants
taking
are
the
on.
pants
Oh,
off.
so your business isn't out.
Yes, no.
Oh,
But
okay.
even if-
okay.
whatever.
I will read the last line of this email. Yes, I absolutely know this story to be a fact. Please, God, help me read it on the air. Although it's a hypothetical, either way, is the car
Who
a
owned
wash?
the car? Who owned the car?
It-
No,
that-
you can clean.
No,
you can.
you can-
Yeah, is it leather seats? Yeah, I mean, no matter
doubt
what,
it.
it's fine.
They're probably
doubt
it's
it.
probably absorbent because they're talking about it soaking into
Then
the
you,
seats.
then you
Yeah.
Leather
spray
seats,
some,
it
you get some
wouldn't.
resolve.
Like what? 90% of car seats are like fabric, not leather.
Yeah,
right?
spray some
Like
resolve.
Also,
let it
they have
soak.
to account for like kids being in cars.
Right. That's true.
You know, it could soak into the seat, and that could be a problem for a while. But
Yeah.
it's
I mean, people have dogs and stuff, and they
Yeah.
stay in the back seats during road trips, and
Yeah.
they pee.
You're not
hang a
gonna-
tree
people
from the
puke.
mirror,
You're
hope
not
for
gonna
the best.
You're not going to
Yeah.
junk your car because your dog peed in the back
It's
seat.
sterile.
We had a Bronco that every time it rained, anytime any moisture got in there, the car would just smell like a wet dog. And we got it used, I think. So I assume the previous owner must have had a dog.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation.
So there's that problem when the smell, like the odor, gets down in the vents. And then, like
Yeah.
anytime you run the vents, you smell it coming out of there.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some-
That's why you break into people's cars and pee in their vents.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes,
Put a hamburger in there.
Uh-huh.
Burger those vents.
Yeah.
sometimes fabrics can be so filled with the odor, though, that no like amount of washing. Like I bought a George Thorogood shirt on eBay a few years ago, and I washed it a billion times, and it still just smelled like complete cigarette smoke
It's never.
all the time.
I mean, isn't that what
Weird.
you want from a George Thorogood
I
shirt?
guess, yeah, but after you go to the concert, you know,
Yeah.
Did you keep wearing it?
yeah.
Just put up with it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Is this the last email? I don't remember what this one's about. I hope it's not bad. Matt from Perth, Australia.
Also, next time you're in San Francisco, need to pee, just open the door.
Yeah.
Everybody else does.
Everyone, yeah.
You won't
Yeah,
get
no
arrested.
one
Oh,
will
yeah.
care.
Find an
You
alleyway.
certainly won't get arrested,
Yes, find an alleyway that works around here.
or not.
Just add to it.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in a very long time, actually.
People peeing on the street? Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
It's been a
Really?
while.
Oh.
Been a long time.
Have you seen pooping ever?
I have.
Yep.
I don't think
I've
so.
seen that. The first day I was here, when we walked over to that Thirsty Bear place to get lunch,
Yeah.
it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was a guy just standing right there
That's
in
right.
the middle of
we
the
were
sidewalk.
walking to lunch, and
Nice.
that guy was just
peeing.
going
It's my
for
first
it.
day of work in
And
San
I was like,
Francisco.
oh, perfect.
Yep,
That's
yep.
fucking all right.
Yep.
We're
Just
gonna
like
give it to
fucking
you early.
Full on penis,
What-
urine stream, just whole thing.
Keeping-
What the
peeing-
fuck have I
peeping
gotten
and
myself
pooping.
into?
Let's name my new web series.
Yeah.
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 It's probably taken already.
I mean, it's not just for people who don't live here. It's not exactly an everyday thing.
Depends on where you are.
Yes, it also, but that's any city, right?
Yes, I guarantee most major cities, someone is shitting on the street.
Somewhere
as we speak.
Somewhere,
This
yeah.
is the only city where I've seen people peeing or defecating in broad daylight on the street ever. I've never seen that in Minnesota or
I
Kansas.
want you to
or
bring
New York.
that to New York. I
can
want
do
you
that.
to be the guy
I
that
think
poops on those streets.
I think you can get arrested in New
Yeah,
York.
because that don't happen in New York.
Put it to the test.
No.
I mean, I think you can get arrested here too if anybody sees you.
If anyone asks you, just say, "Oh, I'm from San
They haven't
Francisco,"
caught me yet.
and they'd be like, "Oh, well, hey, so
Oh, okay.
police, hey, we just don't do that here." Bring that shit back out west. Literally, like, don't.
I'm sure it happens
We've been
everywhere.
through so much. Just don't bring that here. We cleaned up Times Square.
All right. Here is Matt from Perth, Australia, with a field report on public urination. In the most recent rodeo, Dan mentioned his policy of peeing in public and his strong opposition to the action being considered a sex offense. I thought you might be interested to know that in Australia, peeing in public is not considered a sex offense and is instead charged as public urination,
Good.
which results in a small fine. I know this because my brother was picked up for public urination in his early 20s after drinking in the city because he couldn't hold it. Similar to Dan's strategy, he was peeing on a building at the time.
Yes.
His name's also Dan. The only time the charge became an issue was when my family was planning a trip to the U.S. and we were concerned his tourist visa application might be denied if the charge appeared on any of the security checks. We decided the best course of action would be to go to the U.S. Embassy in Perth and ask them how they felt about public peers.
Huh.
After explaining,
Come on in.
after explaining,
Where are you
his-
going? San Francisco? Perfect.
After explaining his query to the nice lady at the embassy, she laughed at him for a few minutes and then said he would probably be fine if he declared the charge. A few weeks later, his tourist visa was approved, and we had a great trip to New York, Washington, D.C., and parts of Canada. To my knowledge, he didn't pee on any of your buildings during the trip, but I could be wrong.
Missing out.
That's nice.
That's why they're there.
It's true.
Sometimes you have to pee.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you're trying to get your rocks off and you got to go door to door when you move into a new place.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes
No.
you just got to
Yes.
piss.
No, I'm with you on that. You pretty much marked your entire town, right?
Lawrence,
Up and down.
specifically. Yeah, Lawrence.
So the
is-
territory.
And
has-
it being like a college town, I'm sure, you're not the first. You definitely won't be the last.
See, that's
been
the real
covered over many
That's
times,
the real
yeah.
problem. You've lost your territory now. You're gonna have to.
Hey, I got 9 days back in Kansas
You're gonna have
starting
to-
this weekend.
You're gonna have to go
so
back and reclaim that main street.
That's
If
what
you
happens
want-
in Lawrence.
If you want your dominance to be known.
Like one long game of Splatoon.
Ugh.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you're gonna give some indie developer on Steam an idea.
I think
That's
we're
already
gonna-
there.
that's
We're
already
gonna
there.
we're gonna have to deal with the fruits of that in
We
10,
already-
12 to 18 months.
We did already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in early access.
Right, sure. All right, that's all the emails I've got. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. That's it. That's all, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got left?
Wow, yeah.
Well, we got a party.
Yeah, we've got to plan a party.
Yep.
Yes.
Get that.
Yes.
I want my
Get
last
that
week
going.
to be like the.
You're going away party.
Yeah, I want it to be like Metal Gear Solid 4. We got to wrap up all the loose ends.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Except for Demo Derby. You guys
Right,
still have
yeah,
that. So you
yeah,
guys can be Konami putting out Demo Derbies.
That's
That's the-
exactly.
Demo Derby is the Metal Gear Survive.
Yes. Is coming soon.
But we have to wrap up all the
like,
series.
It's like the same mechanics, but like they took out all the story stuff. and
yeah,
it's
it's
just this
weird. It's only
multiplayer-
Saturn demo disc now.
Right.
Yeah. But no, we'll do some parties here.
Yes.
We've already kind of talked about when that's going to happen. So that'll be by the end of the week.
Yeah.
But then, Friday, UPF, that'll be the end of it.
All right.
So, yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah,
I'll be
cool.
back for Game of the Year stuff,
Yes.
everything, obviously,
Yes, you
and
will still be
PAX
on.
panels and all that stuff.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I got to file our PAX East panel here pretty soon.
God, really
Yeah.
How to piss in public. The giant bomb story.
yeah.
writes itself.
No. Yeah, well,
Well, it kind of does.
I mean, maybe we need a format for the panel.
Okay.
Trying different things.
Yeah, that's true. Been trying to figure out a way to change up that panel for a while.
Maybe this is the way.
Yep, indeed. All right, thanks for listening. This has been the Giant Bombcast. We will see you right back here, same time next week.